Ball hard, yeah. Gang, gang, yeah. My bitch bag, yeah. Rose gold got my bands up, yes, yes. White sand in my sandals, yeah, yeah. Ball hard, I got handles. Gang, gang, no bandanas. My bitch bag and no manners. Whoa. Ball hard, yeah. Gang, gang, yeah. My bitch bag, yeah. Rose gold got my bands up, yes, yes. White sand in my sand.
What is going on, everybody? I know you guys cannot see us right now. Everybody gonna laugh at this. Guys in the chat, you guys can see me. Well, you guys can't, but for my team right now, I never put us in the box. So they're looking at 4 blank spaces right now. So you guys are gonna, before we do anything, you guys are gonna get a tutorial, okay? That's the way we do it here. Nothing is scripted. I've been drinking, and guess what? I never put nobody in a box. So let's go ahead and do that as everybody is here with us. Guys in the chat, get ready to throw your stuff out there. You guys see it. There's 4 black boxes in there. But what you're going to see is us pop up slowly but surely in these boxes. Look, nobody else does this for you, right? I'm going to do it right now so everybody can see. All right, let's see. By the way, we have Austin here. We have RB here. We got Joe. It is not just me, I promise you guys. So you guys are going to get a little tutorial behind the scenes. Not everybody gets to see this. Guys, they can see us now. So, Joe, put your clothes back on. What
is this the first time they've seen Joe?
I think so, yeah.
No.
On the camera. With the camera.
No, is it? No, me and you did it live.
I think it is his first time.
No, Joe,
I think
we did it
together.
live before. Oh,
no,
all of
together.
Us together. Okay.
Oh, together.
All of us together. Okay, yeah, I think it is then. All right, so I'm already on there. Let's get Austin next. So, guys, this is actually, I mean, maybe this is fun. Maybe people like to see this. This is OBS Studio. You're probably not seeing everything, but this is how we do our thing here. I made a rookie mistake. Guys, you know I'm not overly professional right now yet. I'm still getting there. But, all right, now you guys can see Austin. There he is.
What's up, guys?
All right, then we're going to get RB up in here. RB rocking, by the way, everybody, I just got to let you know, RB is rocking Nights at the Roundtable tee, but that is the retro version. Because come January, RB already seen it, RB already knows, we have the new one dropping, and RB, tell everybody how amazing that thing looks, man.
Woo! You guys are in for a treat.
The newness that we have coming your guys' way. Everybody, like, there's one guy that was like, well, you keep talking about this January stuff, shut up. And I'm like, you gonna understand why I keep talking about it. And then we're gonna get Killer Joe in here. And then we good to go. So rookie mistake, guys, I apologize for the rookie mistake on my end. We are here. There it goes. Bam. The Knights of the Round Table are here, folks. We got some news today, but I mean, first I just want to go around the room again. I don't have the ats in there. I feel like you guys kind of know us. But, you know, if you look in the description of this video, you'll see Austin's handle. You'll see Joe's handle. You'll see mine. You'll see Arby's. You guys know where to follow us. So if you're not, please do so. One thing I will ask before we get started, as I always do, guys, please go ahead and share this out. I am going to do that right now. And then we will jump right into your guys' conversation. Some of the Yankees moves today. And I guess the big news of the day, which we can get started with right now, is Wander Franco. I know it's not Yankees, but the reason why I want to have a chance to actually speak about it briefly is mainly because the Yankees are waiting on a guy like Aaron Judge. They're waiting until the last year, if they do it now, but it's next year, for a guy like Aaron Judge, where now they're locking in Wander Franco, the Tampa Bay Rays of all teams, dropping what could be, 225, 235, about 18,
185 over 11 years, and then it could bump up to 12 for 223.
They could round up to 12 for 223. So the Yankees don't do this much with many guys. They don't do something like this. And maybe, you know, you can make the argument they really didn't have such a young stud like that at such a young age to do that for. But RB, I'll just throw it over to you to start with. What do you think about that deal?
Well, I was shocked because normally the Tampa Bay Rays normally don't spend money. they trade away
Right.
the expensive players. But hey, go for Franco. It's a good deal. Hopefully, it's not something that they will regret later on down the future, in case of an injury or whatever the case may be. But we will expect them to trade Franco at some point later on down the road because that's how they are. But hey, go for Franco. The contract seems friendly. It's not. I'm shocked it's less than $20 million a year. What is it? 18.5?
Yeah,
I
something
believe.
like that.
Something like that.
So if you compare him to Tatis, he got 14.3, and Acuna 8 for 100.
Acuna is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you talk about a steal. That is a steal.
So yeah. So it's not that bad. Good day for Franco. I'll tell you that.
Joe?
I'm not too surprised that they extended Franco. I don't remember a stud like that at an age like that they've had. So I mean, I don't think it could go bad. $18 million a year for a top hitter in the league, which I think they're going to trade anyway because that contract is team friendly, and I think any team in the league would take it off their hands.
I was just gonna say there was there was no trade clause in there, was there?
I don't think so.
Wow. So the Rays know what they're doing.
Yeah.
The Rays know what they're doing. That's a smart deal because in many senses of that, they like Arby. I think Arby or Joe, whoever said that, was you could really get out of that deal if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot
It's a
of
friendly
ways.
deal.
There's a lot of ways. Extremely friendly deal. Austin, what do you think about it?
I mean, I think you guys kind of took the word right out of my mouth. It's funny, I was going to bring it, but there was no trade clause in there. So yeah, they very easily could get out of that deal. But man, that's the type of deal that if for some reason it goes bad, like RB, you said, injuries, or if maybe he doesn't end up being the guy that we all think he's going to be, for Tampa to pay him that, they need him to be a star. And if he's not, that's going to really cripple them
big time
in the future.
I'm just shocked they did it so fast. Like, this is his first time playing, right? In the big league?
Yeah.
He was a rookie this year.
That's right.
And then for them to give him that kind of contract already, like you're taking a gamble.
I mean, not that Glaber was touted as highly as Wander Franco, but could you imagine if the Yankees did that with Glaber a couple years ago?
Woo,
We would have screwed. We would have screwed.
Goodness. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. You're 100% right. If this deal ends up not working out, you're talking about an organization that can't swallow a contract like that, and it's going to really cripple them for years to come. Kind of reminds me of, if you guys going back in the day, you look at when everybody was kind of confused when Griffey signed with Cincinnati, and you're like, all right, well, that just shut that team down for years to come. So whether they made money off Ken Griffey or not, which they likely did, it kind of threw a wrench in their plans going forward, if they had any at all. But deals like that can do that, especially with a small market club. That's the difference of the Yankees, right? Is that the Yankees can make mistakes financially. They can make up for it.
Yep.
A team like the Rays can't do that. A team like
This
the Rays.
could be Giancarlo Stanton to a lesser degree in terms of money, but it could very easily be a Stanton-esque deal.
For the organization, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, no doubt about it. And, I mean, the effects of it on the Yankees, not really. I mean, not really much there. That's an organizational decision. Doesn't really affect the Yanks much. I think it's fun because the one thing it does kind of make you question and think about is, could the Yankees already have done stuff with Aaron Judge differently? Or are they, are they barking up the wrong tree here, and how this negotiation is going to end up going?
See, the thing that somebody said, if they would have signed Judge years ago, we would have got him for cheaper. Then I was like, yeah, if you would have signed him years ago, yeah, it's true, probably cheaper. But all the injuries that he had, missing so many games, majority of the season, then we would look back like we should have never signed him at that time. So in a way, thankfully, we didn't sign him just yet. But now, if they're going to re-sign him this offseason or they're going to take him for next year, if he has another year the way he did this year, now you're talking about, okay, 250, 270 probably. Who knows? So now that's something else they have to think about.
Right. And it is a different scenario. We understand that. We know that Judge is not 20. We know he's not 21. He's been in the, just new to the league. But I think the issue that a lot of Yankee fans run into here is that would it have made more sense if the Yankees looked to lock Judge in? Because let's be real here. I'm not saying you do it this way, and I'm not saying the Yankees are doing it wrong right now. I think if they do re-sign him, this offseason should have been it. If they do, they still got a lot of time. But after Judge's rookie year, for an example, and he has this monster year, hits all these homers, if the Yankees were to go to him at that point, you're not going to give Judge $25+ million a year. I think that's where Yankee fans are coming from. Now, not saying would it have worked or not, the injury risk and all that. I just think Yankee fans are kind of feeling like, well, the next guy that comes along, would they, Volpe, let's say Volpe for an example. Are the Yankees going to lock Volpe in long term if he comes up and wins the Rookie of the Year and has a phenomenal season? I don't think so. I don't think that's kind of their MO. Brian Cashman's not a guy who normally does stuff like that. Now, he locks up Aaron Hicks long term, but I mean, I don't know. That might be just a mistake. But I don't know if we see the Yankees do something like that.
I don't think so. I mean, and also why I'm sure Tampa did this. They wouldn't have done this if he was 24. He's what, 19, 20?
Yeah, I think he's 20.
He's 20.
20, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why this deal makes sense for both sides.
Right.
I mean, because Franco can still cash in and get a huge payday when he's 31 when he hits free agency. And the Rays get to show our fans, hey, we're spending money, and we just lock this guy up for 12 years.
Yeah, 100%.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the Rays can say, hey, you come to the stadium, we got a guy. Come buy his jersey. I think it brings in the newer fans.
It does. It brings in younger fans. It's smart. I mean, look, anybody around baseball who will be upset about that deal, you're nuts. Because it's nice to see. Yeah. When I saw that number, guys, what was the first thing I tweeted out? I was like, and then the Yankees are sitting home doing nothing? Like what kind of multiverse are we living in here where the Rays are like, hey, our star, we'll shoot him $200 million. Cool, no problem. What a Rays, we'll do it. I'm like, the Rays? The Rays are dishing out $200 million? The Yankees are like, yeah, we ain't going to another big contract. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Hal's out there being like, hey, lower the luxury tax. we don't want it risen, lower it, please. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's good for baseball, one. I think it's good for small market clubs to show that, look, we will go out there, maybe lock our guys in. Maybe we won't go out there and compete for a Correa, but we'll lock our young guys in. I mean, you can't be upset with that. That's good for Major League Baseball.
I mean, I wish the A's would.
It also makes our division more fun.
Yeah, you got an enemy now, right? We got an enemy for years to come.
Yeah.
I wish the A's would do it for their fan base.
Yeah, 100.
Those are our guys we take when they hit free agents.
Right.
That's
And that's the thing. I think isn't that part of? I think that's
Moneyball?
part of what. Well, no, that too. But I think that's
the
part
movie.
of what the CBA is talking about. Is that these teams need to be more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Is that people are getting a lot of people in different organizations are upset when they see a team like I don't know the Orioles, the Pirates, who are basically breeding grounds for other teams' players. It's like a professional minor league. Is almost what you're looking at the major league level. It shouldn't necessarily be that way. Of course, teams are going to operate a little differently. But speaking of Yankee operations, they do a little something today. Odor and Frazier are now history. They are gone. So the Yankees really have a bench right now that consists of Kyle Higashioka. So it's not something that I think we have focused on or anybody has really focused on yet. But that's going to be a very interesting thing for the New York Yankees on how they fill that bench. Who the players will eventually be, because there will be new players, we know that. But who will they be is going to be very interesting. Because we think right now the bench is Higashioka, but that could also change per trades. That can also change per who the catcher is going to be. And then, you move on it from there. But I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, well, do you think Oswaldo Cabrera kind of takes that role? He could, but I think there's a lot of names out there that could get some very, very small deals for the Yankees that can fill many positions on the bench. I don't want to throw one of them out there, but I kind of feel like you could pencil Brett Gardner in. I don't know why I say that, but I almost feel like you can. What do you guys think about the Odor and Frazier release and what the bench could look like?
For me, it's just I think it's all of us when we see that. I mean, wow, what has Frazier turned into? One of our top, 5, 10 prospects? He was basically the reason why we didn't get Ray, Cole, Verlander, and then now we just let him go. I mean, you basically had to. So, I mean, it sucks about that. And then letting Odor go, I mean, we were paying him nothing. So, I mean, he's not really going to do anything. He doesn't bring anything with the glove. He's got some pop, but I mean, we could fill those positions in with Cabrera, Peraza if he's not traded. So I mean, they're good moves. Opens up the bench for more versatility for sure, which we didn't really have. If you think about it.
Right. Austin, what do you think?
I just hope that it means that Cashman is going to finally be more like how the Dodgers operate with their bench. They are so deep. They can, I mean, they've been, was it 2019 Bellinger won MVP or was
Yes.
it 2018?
Yeah,
2019. So he's runner-up in 2018. He wins it in 2019. He slumps in 2020 and 2021 to the point where the Dodgers didn't even rely on him in the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, there were games this postseason he didn't start. But the Yankees, we're relying on all these guys because we have absolutely zero depth. And if you get any injuries, you got Andrew Velasquez at shortstop in an AL wildcard game. Like, Cashman has got to go out, and maybe Cabrera can come up and be that, I don't want to say Ben Zobrist type player, but maybe more of a Chris Taylor type player. Or something along those lines. Maybe that, he can play second, short, third. I don't know. Can he play outfield?
No, there's never been experience in the outfield, but I tell you what, if he is, you'll see it in spring training because it makes sense.
It makes
all the sense in the world to get Oswaldo Cabrera some outfield experience.
And he's fast enough.
He's fast enough. Yeah. He hits enough. He could hit. The guy could hit. He's switch hitter. I mean, you talk about a guy. There you go. I mean, you said Ben Zobrist, right? Ben Zobrist was an excellent switch hitter. Hit both ways. Wasn't as fast as Cabrera is, but the guy is a professional hitter. He could play defense very well at almost any position. And that is extremely valuable in today's game. And you are right when you say that the Yankees need that. They desperately need guys that can fill multiple roles. That's why Chris Taylor, like you said, is also a name you haven't heard much for the Yankees, but you could see why it would make a lot of sense. You could see why Oswaldo Cabrera was added to the 40-man roster. It makes sense. Then you got guys, that are free agents. You got your Jonathan VR, who I think could make a lot of sense for the Yankees. That can play all over the place also. And I like him. I think he's a good player. I liked him with the Orioles. Played with the Mets for a little bit. I like him a lot. So I mean, we'll see what his bench goes to. Arby, do you have any takes on the bench with the release of Frazier and Odor?
Well, with Frazier, it was not a shock that they released him because he had no value, especially with his health concerns, which you reported first. All these concussions, no team was going to take a gamble. So now it's up to him now. And with Odor, I am a little bit surprised because he has some pop. He can play third base, second. I thought a team would take a gamble with. Yeah,
that's the thing. Correct. And I really like what Austin said because he's right. But that's the thing with Odor is that Odor should have never been at third base for the Yankees. That's a fail on the roster construction.
And actually, wasn't he at third in the AL wildcard game?
Yeah. I believe he was, yeah.
No, because Gio didn't play,
never
right?
Played.
Or did he play?
No, I'm pretty sure he played third because let me double check. I think he did because Gio was out and DJ was out. Yeah. They were both injured.
Then he did. Torres was at second. Right.
Joe, do you remember?
Velasquez was at short.
It was Odor at third.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And Glaber at
I told you guys the moment the Yankees acquired Odor, I was like, watch him play at some point third base because the Rangers had him playing third in spring training because he never played third base before. And I told you guys, like, watch him play third for us at some point. But not overly surprised though, like I said, but like you said, Pete, you took my guy, one of the names that I had in mind, and Villar. He will be a great bench player. He could play in multiple positions, and he makes contact as well.
Yeah, I think he plays every position on the infield, doesn't he? I think he plays outfield too.
Oh, does he?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he just played all the infield.
I'm pretty sure he plays all the infield plus the outfield.
Oh, look at that. So that's even more of a plus for us as a bench player. And then I just laughed because Cashman said he wanted to be more athletic, and he just traded away our fastest athletic players. But hopefully he can give, like what Austin and you guys said, Cabrera a chance during spring training. Hey, show us what you got, especially in the outfield. Peraza, if he's still with us by the end of the offseason, give these young guys a chance to see, what they have. Because,
I kind of would have kept Wade. I don't know about anybody else.
Voit?
I'm shocked about Wade.
No,
I'm not
Wade.
gonna- I'm shocked
Wade,
about Wade.
okay. Yeah, Wade I am. I agree. I was expecting that if they... It doesn't shock me that they got rid of him because I understand in a sense of what they're going for. Now, how they're going for it, we'll see. But I do understand Wade in a sense. What I don't truly understand is if they're going to... You're getting rid of an athlete, a guy who could run for you. He could do all the little things. He plays defense everywhere pretty well. Played the outfield not bad either. He wasn't a negative out there when you put him there. And he's like a super utility guy. So what you got to believe there is that the Yankees feel like they either have somebody like that or they're confident they could acquire somebody like that. Because or better. Or, more of an offensive threat that could play all over the field. Or maybe they feel DJ LeMahieu will be in that role and that he's playing all over the infield. I don't think that's the best way to go about it with a guy like DJ because he's getting older, one, and I think you got to let him play his best position, but we'll definitely get there. But the Yankees have these guys in the minor leagues. That's the one good thing, right? We got Estevan Florial, who I think would be a great fourth. It's time. I mean, at what point do you just keep leaving this guy in AAA and seeing what he does? He came up, he looked well. As a fourth outfielder, would anybody be opposed to that? Would anybody be opposed to him being a platoon partner with Hicks? I mean, I know I wouldn't be.
I want him
Some
starting,
fans
so
will.
I'll take him platooning for now.
Apparently, some fans are.
I mean,
I've tweeted so many times.
I
Florial,
think you see Gardner back. I got a gut
Yeah.
feeling that
yeah.
you do see Gardner back.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if
yeah,
Brett
for
Gardner
sure,
says,
yeah.
I want to play another year, I just don't see the Yankees saying, hey, look, Gardy, not here, though. I'm sorry. Like, it's time for us to move on. The way they're going now, I don't know. Maybe they value that leadership that much that they feel like having him back again, and then you got a Florial still in the minors, or if they trade him, we'll see what happens. But I consider them a little more athletic still because I think Joey Gallo's considered an athletic guy. He can run. He's not slow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never knew Joey Gallo was as fast as he is. He's not a slow base runner. He can still move around a little bit. But I agree wholeheartedly with Austin. I think the infield, the bench needs to be very versatile. I think they got to be able to move around a lot, and I think they got to be able to produce when a guy goes down. You can't throw a Velasquez. The Yankees should never do that.
No. So two quick things for you, Pete, on the bench. One, I think you'll probably have a pretty straightforward answer to. Do you think if Miguel Andujar is healthy, that he is penciled in as your backup first baseman, third baseman, and corner outfield?
Hell no.
No?
No.
So you don't think he's guaranteed a spot on the bench if healthy?
I think he'll be traded because I believe there's actually value in him.
Okay.
I believe there. What I believe happened, and I have no information on this. What I believe happened with Andujar was that there was enough interest for the Yankees to feel like legs will grow from it eventually, and then move him as a part of a deal.
And do you,
National League.
if they adopt the DH in the CBA, absolutely. The other one was, do you think that there's a world where Gio Urshela is the super utility guy next year?
Could be. I like the sound of it.
Playing third, short,
I'll make him
second.
Yeah, I don't think I would be opposed to that. Gio proved me wrong this year. I'll be honest. Gio proved me wrong. When Gio Urshela was moved to shortstop, I was like, oh my, what are they? Are they nuts? Like, this is crazy. They're literally a team thinking that they have a shot to go very far, and they got everybody out of position. I said, man, you're going to see a game where something is going to be an absolute nightmare. And mind you, I also don't like DJ LeMahieu at third base. So I'm watching this, and I'm telling the team, I'm like, there's going to be some major errors in this infield. It's going to be very bad. They're going to collapse because of this. He really surprised me with how good he looked at shortstop. There was a play, he went all the way in the hole. His range was good. His arm was terrific. He's athletic enough that role would not surprise me. And Austin, I haven't thought about that. I actually like that idea.
And after seeing him play second, after seeing him play short, I have no doubt he could play second.
Oh, no question. No question about it.
And I think he could even play first. Not that I really want him there, but
In a
if
squeeze,
they
in a
got to
pinch.
find, yeah.
In a pinch, yeah. Yeah, I definitely see him doing that. So that's interesting. But I mean, let's stick with the bench for a little bit and talk about what they could do there. We talked about Jonathan VR. I don't know if you looked that up, if he played the outfield before, but I'm pretty sure he has.
He did.
He did play
He
the
played,
outfield. So
He's played left field and center field.
So you're talking about a legitimate super utility guy with power
And speed.
and speed that would make a lot of and a switch hitter.
Yep.
Makes a ton of sense for the Yankees. I don't see the
Exactly.
Yankees dishing out the money that it would take to get a guy like Chris Taylor. I don't know if you guys disagree with that or agree.
I agree. I don't think they. I think
I agree
DJ's
with
already
that,
that
too.
guy and better. So I don't think they go out and do that.
I was going to say, I don't know who the hell the Yankees dish money out on. I have no clue. But there's many different ways you could fit this infield. I mean, so for an example, let's just go that route. Let's say Jonathan VR is a guy to go get. You got a guy that could play everywhere. You got Estevan Florio who could play everywhere. Maybe you don't necessarily need a guy like a Oswaldo Cabrera who also could play everywhere. You got Higashioka on the bench. You know, you got a spot open there for maybe a guy who potentially could play all over the place, or maybe you look for a guy that maybe works better at first base and maybe some outfield. I don't know who that could be, but a name that I always liked. What's his name now? I don't even remember his name. Arizona. Let's see if anybody can help me. Plays a little first base, plays the outfield.
Escobar?
No, he's not a free agent. I have to be trade. But his name just popped in mind because he actually had a decent year.
Christian Walker?
Christian Walker.
Is that it?
A Christian Walker could make some sense. And this is just, we're just spitballing here. But
So right now, so we would assume it'd be 4 people on the bench, and Higgy would technically be 1 right now out of 4.
hold on, I got to
So-
stop us here. Somebody in the comments section just said to extend Gary.
Sanchez?
Gary Gaetti, maybe. I don't.
Gary
Wow.
Denbo.
Gary Denbo. Extend Gary. Fam, come on.
No way. They
Your
gotta be.
his second part is okay because he goes extend Gary and bring Sessa back. I wouldn't be opposed to that too much if it just happened. But
Well, Sessa, yeah, I'm all right.
Extend
but
Gary
Yeah.
for what?
He's related. He's related to Gary.
He
There's
got-
no way.
It's Gary's
There's
burner.
no way.
That's Gary's
No way.
burner account. That gotta be Gary Sanchez. Gary, good luck playing for the Marlins next year.
No,
Wow.
there's no way. Oh, no, and then somebody else said, "Oh, Gary has made great progress." And what? In Eden or what? Can somebody tell me? And what did he
He's
make
made
progress?
great progress in regressing as a catcher. He has done that. He has certainly done that.
I just don't
certainly done that.
understand no more. I don't understand no more.
You know,
I don't
it's
get it.
funny.
And I'm a big Gary fan.
Well, we're talking about the bench, so obviously, Higashioka is a part of that, and catching is going to be a real point of interest for a long time. Obviously, we know the bench can go many different ways, but I want to get everybody's opinion on this. I put out a tweet today because I've been actually talking about this a lot, and we've all been talking about Gary Sanchez for a long time. One of the things I laugh about is when you talk about moving on from Gary Sanchez, fans immediately say, "But Pete, what about his production?" And I'm a little confused by this, and maybe I'm off. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant towards the catching situation of all of Major League Baseball. But does defense not count as production, or am I nuts?
It does.
It counts for sure.
Joe,
Of course,
do you-
especially in catchers. As a catcher, I think it counts more as the real production than actually putting something in play with the bat. I mean, which he really doesn't do.
So what production are we talking about that we're truly going to be missing?
I think they're just talking about, his 30 home runs that he might put up in a year. Which,
That's
if
it.
you're going to go out and you're actually going to make progress on this team, you're going to go get Matt Olson, somebody like Trevor Story. They're going to put up double, triple of what he was doing, and you put a
Well,
defensive catcher back there.
Here's my question, and this is, again, where I always go to. But didn't we already make up his production with Joey Gallo? He wasn't in the original 2021 roster.
Joey Gallo didn't produce either.
He didn't produce either. But my thing is, if you're worried about production that you're going to lose from Gary, doesn't a guy like Gallo make up for the same type of player besides he's faster and he plays better defense? He hits
I
the
was
home
just about
runs.
to say that.
It's more
I was
home
just about to
runs.
say that.
Gets on base more. I mean, it makes it up even more than whatever Gary's doing.
Who had a higher war? Who had a higher war? Jacob
do you-
Stallings or Gary Sanchez?
Ooh, let me look that up.
You don't have to. You're
I'm assuming.
educated
I'm assuming
enough.
it's
Stallings.
Stallings, but
Yeah.
I just want to see the
Stallings.
difference.
Yeah,
And I would
you-
assume it's not close.
No.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was over
I don't
two,
even have
probably
to-
over two. Or
He's got a
one.
3. He's got a 3.
And Gary had a
Stallings.
what? A 1.5? 2 because of the power.
He had a positive WAR.
He did have a positive
Point
WAR.
7,
Yeah.
barely
Point
positive.
7. There you go.
Yeah.
So you're beating them by 2.3. And everybody with the super chats, I appreciate you. I'm going to get to you any second. But guys, what are we missing here? Because everybody agrees on this, and I know there'll probably be topics we disagree, but this one I think we agree because we're educated on baseball. I'm so confused here that people don't understand. I said this the other day. I said, if the Yankees went out there and said, look, we're not getting let's say they're talking to me to go, Pete, look, we're not getting the big guys. I'm sorry. Here's what we're going to do, though. So just stay with me. We're getting you Jacob Stallings. We're going to do that. Unfortunately, we don't see a shortstop fit. We're going to try to young guys up. Okay? We're adding minimum 2 starting pitchers. That's basically all we do. I'd sit there and say it's not what I wanted, but the team is greatly improved. Because people don't get Jacob Stallings alone makes everything better on the team. And not just Jacob Stallings. Anybody that can play defense and work with pitchers automatically improves the New York Yankees' chances of winning.
No, that's true. And the issue is that people don't understand. None of the pitchers from the rotation wants to pitch to Gary. They don't have no confidence.
It started with Cole. It went to Kluber,
Yeah.
and at the end of the year was Montgomery.
Exactly. So that's 3 out of 5. So imagine that. So now you have the pitchers overly thinking, okay, what can I throw that Gary's comfortable catching, or at what angle, or what spot? So now we're giving up runs, and the pitcher's screwing up because of Gary. You have Stallings, it's a different ball game. Oh, you're throwing the dirt. I'll catch it. Don't worry.
I'm gonna do a Joe Biden. No pass balls. No pass balls. And again, you know he'll have a pass ball eventually.
That's
But,
insane, though.
I mean,
That is insane.
Would anybody be mad if, oh my God, everybody, Team N1 News, look, we're losing Gary's bat, but we're gaining Stallings. What do we do? Anybody would be upset by that?
And the other thing is, our lineup is so deep, 1 through 8. Even if we traded Gary, like you said, Gallo can replace that his numbers. Like I really don't understand it.
Whatever.
We can have an average catcher.
Stallings gets on base more than Gary too.
And
So, I mean, what are you
also,
losing?
Joe, you probably already got him pulled up. When
Yeah.
was Jacob Stallings' best offensive season?
This year,
Yeah.
Gold Glove.
Jacob Stallings getting more playing time. He won the Gold Glove Award. He's arguably the Arby. You're the only one I assume in here that speaks full Spanish. On Carlos Correa's interview, what did he say about Jacob Stallings?
that he's a monster. He's the best because, first of all, any catcher that doesn't allow pass ball in the whole year, that's something that is unheard of. And he's the best based on the numbers that he put up this year. But he said that Stallings overall this year was the best catcher.
And he doesn't play for
he's
him.
an animal.
He doesn't play with him. And
Yeah.
He recognized that's his reputation around the league. He's also, I think, 6'4", which is rather surprising for a catcher. But I think everybody agrees with that. So if you guys don't mind, let's get to our super chats here. Ruben, our good friend, says, I would extend the 2016-2017 version of Gary. Yeah, I think we all would if he stayed there,
yeah.
Ruben. I agree with that 100%. Everybody's saying there, what production? I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to make out here. It's Your Boy says, instead of signing a $300 million contract, the Yanks could spread that out into multiple players and build upon it instead of one big contract. In my opinion,
Yes, please.
Why do some of these fans want Gary back when he's been trash? Love you. We love you too, and I think we all agree 150% with what you said. That's why, guys, I'm going to do the Simonetti repeat. Everybody gets mad because I repeat it so much. You can go through plans 1A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and not miss this offseason. Because it's your boy, what you just said, you all heard. You heard Austin's reaction, you heard RB's, you heard Joe's, you hear mine now. We all agree with that. We're just concerned how this team goes about it. So, hell, we'll jump right into this right now. I do want to get to Anthony, so it's your boy. I'm going to hold you for a second. That's the next thing we talk about, but Anthony has a little message for us here. Guys, hope you're all well. Not Yankee related. Just want to wish you and your families a very happy Thanksgiving, and may God bless you all. Anthony Medina, my good friend, you are one of the superstars in these chats, and God bless you too. And
Right back at you, man. Happy Thanksgiving
right
to
back
everyone.
at you too,
Thanksgiving.
definitely.
Anthony.
Jesus King Chavez, I'll get to you next, but let's jump into that. Austin, I'm going to start with you because I think I heard your reaction first. $300 million spread around. You like that idea?
100%. I was actually trying to think about this earlier. Let's say you could get Semien for maybe either 4 years and 100 or 5 and 125. I think that's at least in the ballpark for Marcus Semien. He's 31.
Right.
I think it's in the ballpark at least. Then you can go out and grab maybe Starling Marte for 4 and 70. And now I've still got $100 million I can spend.
Whew.
So you can go get, maybe you trade for Matt Olson. That only takes up maybe 10.
I think it's like $8 million.
Eight.
Stallings is what, 3? I think his salary is like $3 million, if that.
If that. Then what if you went out and if Cashman really swings for the fences, you trade, let's say Peraza is the headliner for Olson. What if you trade Torres and Dominguez as part of a package for Jose Ramirez?
Woo! Woo!
Christmas came early.
Your infield is Jose Ramirez, Marcus Semien, DJ LeMahieu, and Matt Olson.
Let me tell you something.
Christmas for the
You got Starling Marte in center.
Hey, Joe, John Heyman would tell you that's not a good idea because you don't want none of those guardians.
Tell us.
You've got Starling Marte in center, Judge in right, Gallo in left, and Stallings behind the plate, and you still have money to maybe sign a Kevin Gossman. And you're right at $300 million.
Fam, I keep saying it. I don't know how you failed this offseason. If you failed this offseason, you might as well pack your stuff and go. So
by the way, Jose Ramirez, I think Jose Ramirez is at $12 million this year.
Yeah,
and next year
it stays
14,
like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it stays like it. So I want to pause real quick, Arby, before I get to you because I want to get to Jesus King Chavez here too. He said the best fit, and Joe, you're gonna really like this, so pay attention. Then, matter of fact, Arby, I'm gonna hold off. I gotta go to Joe right after that to talk about his offseason because he's gonna love that. I think he's just gonna agree with this. The best fit will be Story and Olson and 2 pitchers. He said Gray and Ray or Rodon, and however you say his name, and Stallings or any other defensive catcher. So, Joe, I want you to jump right in there because I know you were going back and forth on this a little bit. You really want Story. You do think he's the best fit. What do you think about what King Chavez said?
Oh, I agree with him 100%. I mean, looking at the market, I think we all can agree on we're going to get one of these 5 shortstops that are on the market.
Maybe.
I hope so. I hope so. There's
Andrelton
5 of them.
Simmons.
Oh, my God. So, I mean, for me, Story's the best fit for this team. I mean, you're talking about we need speed. We need people who stay on the field, and we need somebody that's not going to cost $300 million to get hurt for half the year. And I think Trevor Story could fit that. I mean, he does have, in my opinion, the best glove on the market. He can hit. I don't know why people are forgetting who he was with the Rockies. He hit in a lineup that didn't have protection. I think he's going to do well on any other team he's with. And then I think you need Olson, too, on the infield. So I think if you go get a $300 million shortstop, you're not going to be able to do anything else. So, I mean, I agree with him 100%. And I think Stallings should happen anyway, where we spend. He's making $3 million. Gary's going to make, 10? So, I mean, it's just – I agree with him 100%. I think that's the route the Yankees should go in. And I really like Austin's, what he told me. I didn't even think of that. The way he broke it down, if that were to happen, you're setting up a dynasty right there.
Why can't it? And I think that's the problem with where Yankee fans are, right? And we talk about this all the time. Arby, I'll get to you right after this. We talk about this stuff all the time, is that the Yankees need to operate like the New York Yankees. They got money, they got prospects, and they got guys they could trade at the major league level. That's why all year long, all off season, all wild card game, we were live for 5 hours or whatever it was. Days before that, all the things leading up to the off season, we just kept saying, how in the world do you miss here? How do you miss? And I think that is why Yankee fans right now are so anxious to say, well, let's get this ball rolling here because there's so many things you can do. When is it going to happen? So, Arby, I mean, I throw it over to you. I think you agree with the $300 million offer also.
I'm gonna surprise you guys
Oh, no.
because
I'm not ready for this.
no. Because in our group chat, you guys know how much of a fan I was for Seager or Correa. And then especially after seeing that interview of Correa, I was like, Correa's my go-to guy. But me thinking about it thoroughly every day, and then you guys talking about, especially Joe, I'm gonna hop on the wagon with you guys. Story's the go-to guy. Because now I think about, okay, let's say we sign Seager, 300 mil. I'm pretty sure Cashman's like, okay, we spent 300 million on Seager. We're very limited now. Let's bring back Gardner. He can play platoon with Hicks, center field. First base, let's probably re-sign Rizzo or, God forbid, Voit. So he's going to be very limited. So instead, I agree with all you guys. Spread that 300 mil around. Let's trade for Olsen. Story. Third base, I love Austin's idea of Ramirez, which, Pete, you brought it up multiple times, but I think they're going to take a haul for Ramirez.
You know,
especially without friendly
the
contract.
only reason why I'm still not hopping up and down about that is I never have heard his name mentioned at all, ever.
Don't be
I
shy
think
this
he
year.
said he wants to stay with the Indians. So, I mean, he's
Maybe
already.
he just doesn't have
I
no
don't know.
trade, so.
True. But, like with Austin, I definitely agree. Starting Marte, if you could get him, I know he's asking for 4 years, I believe. If you could
I
try
think
to,
I said 4 and 70 probably gets you in the ballpark.
Marte?
Would you guys give that?
Can I add
470?
this in here? I wonder. This is going to be interesting. Let me get to these 2 super chats real quick. We got another one at the end. Tyler says Gary got to go. It's sad to have that cat. It's sad he has to catch that damn ball. A lot of that, and also the 20-something feet up, he doesn't make the tag. Worst plays in baseball history, arguably. And then Ruben also says Happy Thanksgiving. God bless you all in the new NY News family. Same right back at you, Ruben. I want to ask you guys this question because I think a lot of people are missing this, and I'm going to say something now because, you know, Austin brought the name up. If you really look at all the free agents, but if you calculate everything the Yankees need, truly, arguably your best free agent the Yankees should go after is actually Starling Marte. If you break it down, center field is a weakness. Speed is a weakness. A leadoff hitter is a weakness. He does all of it.
Exactly.
Is there a player out there you guys feel really fit this team more?
I mean,
Joe, do you think Story does?
I think if we're gonna put it that way, I think Story would be second because it's tricky.
You got Florial.
It's tricky because with my thing is Story can play center, and you could put Volpe or Peraza at short if you're not gonna spend money elsewhere, or even Florial in center and Story at short. I mean, so I would tie. I don't know. It's tricky. I would tie them both at probably what should be done this offseason. I wouldn't put either one above each other because you can go either routes inside the organization to fill that other hole.
Right. That is
Has Story played center field ever?
No, but here's the
he's
thing.
never played outfield.
No, he hasn't. But here's the thing about Story that I told you guys about that I said I think makes a lot of sense. Would anybody be scared to put him in center field?
No, he's got the speed.
I wouldn't.
Actually, I would.
You would be? I wouldn't. Let me tell you why I wouldn't. I wouldn't because he is one of those players that's an athlete. Complete athlete. He got the speed. He got the knowledge. He could definitely play third base. Does anybody disagree with that?
Oh, no, 100% he can.
He could play third base. So, Austin,
100%.
since you have a different of opinion on that, well, why do you believe putting him in? And I don't think we're saying here that right now you sign him to play center field. I think we're saying when Volpe is ready, and let's say they don't trade none of these guys, you might have Volpe at second and Peraza at short because Peraza is a better shortstop. If you do something like that, do you maybe say, all right, cool, we can move him to center field and be comfortable with doing it? Austin, why do you think that would be the wrong decision?
We spent all of last year talking about, the Yankees are playing everyone out of position. And now you're signing a guy to a 9-figure deal with the thought that maybe it's 1 year that he's playing at his natural spot, and then he's playing a spot he's never played before.
Makes sense.
Like,
I understand.
That's my worry.
As much as I didn't like Glaber at short, at least he came up as a shortstop.
True. That is true.
Like, and I would even if you told me somehow, the Yankees get a top flight, if for whatever reason they say DJ's going to play first, we're going to get a top flight second baseman in and we're going to put Glaber at third, I could even get on board with seeing how that looks.
Oof, I don't know
Because
about
Glaber, the only reason is because Glaber played third again in the minors. He at least has experience there. I wouldn't love it, but it's a spot he has some familiarity with. Now you're talking about, again, a 9-figure deal for how many years? That puts him
that's
in
the
a
thing
spot.
with Story. That's the thing with Story. What are the years going to be?
I think I threw a number in the chat the other day, and I think if he does get a long term, I think that's what it comes out to. I think max, he would probably get like 7 years. And I think a max dollar number would probably be like 170 over
How old-
7.
How old is Story?
I think he turned 30.
29.
No, I think he's
29,
29.
30.
So
He could be 30
okay.
next year.
So a 30,
Yeah.
so a 37-year-old center fielder.
Well, I mean,
No.
no. That's if they go that route, which honestly I wouldn't.
That's
I
why.
wouldn't say no to it. He's an athlete at the end of the day. We have a lot of guys that are signed long term that don't look like athletes. So I think somebody like that won't break down as easily as some of the other guys.
That's
had
what
on long-term
that's what we're trying to
contracts.
say. We're basically trying to say that we wouldn't there, but if the crunch came, I'd be more comfortable with moving him to center field than moving a guy like Voit around.
I mean, they did
Because
it with
this
Chris
is,
Bryant.
this is a guy who is athletic enough, who I do feel could play an adequate outfield.
I think if they do sign a shortstop, eventually that person's going to move out of their position either way because of Volpe. I mean, we could
Yeah,
agree on
but
that.
moving to third base or second base is a lot different though than moving to.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I agree with that.
That's why I like Semien, because he just showed he can play Gold Glove second base.
That's right.
Was also finished third in MVP voting in 2018 or 19.
19 and 21. I
Both
think.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer Semien, but
See, with Simeon, the only reason why I wouldn't prefer him as my shortstop because of his age.
yeah, but he's
okay,
only playing there for a year or two.
But also look at his body.
Yeah. I mean,
He's built to last for a while. And
Yeah.
So,
we talked
see-
about this, Joe. You remember? We talked about this. You said in the thing who potentially out of all the guys available, arguably over the next couple of years, who might be the best? Simeon might be the best. He doesn't get the notoriety. He might be the best.
for me, it depends who stays. I think if Correa keeps doing what he's doing, he stays on the field, he's going to be the best, but it's going to cost the most. But the one that's worth it would probably be Simeon if he keeps doing what he's doing. Yeah.
Watch Correa go
said
to,
it.
watch him go to Boston.
Oh,
I
God.
wouldn't be surprised because what came out with Xander moving?
Bogarts.
It was
He
Bogarts
could
moving
potentially
to
move to second base.
yeah.
No. I told you guys that that
But
Boston is already awaiting for that to happen, like for him to opt out and that he gets moved to second. That's the reason why they have interest
I'll
in
be honest. I'll be
Baez.
honest with you. I could just see Alex Cora making that call and being like, "Hey,
I'm
let's
telling
do
you.
it."
I also think it's an Astros move too. I think one of those two teams would pick him
See,
up,
but
especially if Correa. Obviously, I don't think Correa's going back to Houston.
Because I think
Houston's
Joe,
going to need a shortstop,
you said Simeon's will be perfect for the Astros, right? You picked the
especially with
Astros?
that short-term contract.
He would make a
What
lot of
was
sense
it?
for the Astros.
I had the
What did
Mer-
they
I had the
offer?
Mer-
What was that first offer to Correa? It was a
Like
Was it
162
32?
was small.
It was like a
160.
5-year with
5 and
32
160.
AAV. Yeah, I think they would give that to Simeon. And I think
I
Simeon
agree.
would take that.
That'll be the same exact offer I would
Why
give
not?
Simeon. Yep.
That's what
But he
gives me
wouldn't sit there shortstop
confidence.
though.
That's what gives me a little bit of confidence too that the Yankees would sign a big name just because of the offer they gave to Verlander. If you were willing to go 25 a
30.
season, and my understanding was that it wasn't 25. That was full with incentives to be 25. So that's the first thing I reported on that night.
No, I think it was the full 25 without it,
the
right?
full-
Well, no. All they said was that the deal was worth $25 million. So they never went into the details about how it was broken down. But my understanding was it was going to be either 18 to 21 million guaranteed, and then up to 25 million, and then he would have an opt out on the first year. So we'll see how that goes. But I got some. Let's get some of these super chats here. Ruben says, "Don't mess with Story. Killer Joe ain't having it. I would love Story as well for all the reasons Joe said. People take the Coors effect out of context. They do." Rod Thompson, our good friend, family right here. What's the most important position the Yankees need to fix in order of importance? So we got to put this in order. So Rod's testing us here. We got catcher, shortstop, first base, and starting pitching. Are we confident that Nestor and Montgomery can duplicate last year's production? Very, very good question. And just because I love Ross so much, I'm going to answer it first. And I'm going to answer it very, very quickly. Are you ready for this? Here it goes. You guys might be surprised by this. Catcher is number 1.
Yeah.
First base is number 2. Pitching is number 3. Shortstop is number 4. And I'll continue on. Nestor and Montgomery, I can't depend on them to duplicate their production.
I agree with you as well.
I disagree on the Monty one.
Okay, I'm gonna go
I
to
do
Joe
too.
next. Go ahead, Joe.
So I'm gonna reread the question so I can understand it. So the most important position the Yankees need to, I agree with you on catcher. I think if the Yankees really wanted to make a difference, they get Stallings, and that changes the whole pitching, the bullpen, starting, and it's obviously gonna have such a more impact on one position on the field. And then I would put first base as second as well, because you can go out and trade for probably arguably the best first baseman in the American League and not have to pay him a dime. And then I put shortstop at third because that's money. And then are we confident Nestor and Montgomery could duplicate last year's production? I can bank on Monty coming out, giving us a 3.7, 3.8.
What was his
150
final
innings.
ERA? What was his final ERA?
Something around that.
Mid 3.6, right? I think it was 3.6.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year.
He had a really good year.
3.83.
3.83. So you know what? I will go ahead and
30 games too.
I'll reevaluate what I said. I like Montgomery a lot, so I'm not gonna poot on Montgomery here. I think he could
That's what
definitely give a
Monty does.
3.83 again. I think he could give a 3.83 again. You know, Cortez, I'm still on the fence about. I don't think he's bad, but I'm still on the fence with Cortez. I can't go out there and say he's gonna do the same thing he did last year. That was pretty special.
I'll put it this way: if we upgrade catcher, I think Monty could be even better. So Monty was pretty good all year. 3.8. I think Monty would
I
get
agree
you
with
3.3.
100%.
I think Monty would be at least a number 3 starter if Sevy doesn't work out. I think Monty's a guy we can really bank on. I think catcher would be number 1. Get that done. You upgrade that upgrades the pitching. You get a first baseman. It locks up the defense on the infield. So I mean, you could call up a guy Peraza and put him there if you don't want him. If you don't want to spend money, then shortstop would be third.
Austin, what do you got?
I'm going to be in the minority here. I think shortstop is by far the most important.
Wow. Okay.
I do, because I think at least, and I know Gary's defense was bad. I'm not arguing that at all. His offense was at least league average. I think I don't think the upgrade of Stallings or Carson Kelly or trying to think of the other Wilson Contreras. I don't think the upgrade of them to over Gary is as much as going from a Semien or a Story to how bad Glaber was at short last year. I think it's a bigger improvement. So I'm going to go short, catcher. I really want to throw center field into the mix, even though I know it wasn't in the actual question.
Right.
And
by the way, Ra's not a fan of Aaron Hicks. So I know that.
If we throw center field into the equation, I think I'd put center field at 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You said 2?
Yeah, 2. I think catcher would still be most important, and center field would be the second important.
And I'll be honest, if they can solve catcher, center field, and shortstop, I think I'm comfortable, even if Luke Voigt's the first baseman, and comfortable with what they currently have at first or at pitching. I'm comfortable.
I can't.
I see where he's coming from, because if you do lock up a position like shortstop, you're talking about a Gold Glove and a good arm who can throw to anybody basically at first.
Yep.
So I would understand that, especially we already have Gio at third who's going to hit his spot every time. And then we got a shortstop who's going to hit his spot, and then second baseman obviously
DJ
can throw it anywhere. It's whatever.
If Voigt's healthy, he just led the league in home runs, and granted a shortened season, but 2020.
Let me say this though about Voigt.
But that's the issue.
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing before you go, Arby. Everybody knows he was looking to be traded. How do you bring him back? That's a horrible look.
It's
That's
awkward.
a terrible look. You know how devalued he was by his own team? And you're going to ask him to come
fire
back?
under him.
It could. They could, but Arby, go ahead.
I agree with you guys. I was gonna say with Voit, you guys know how much I love Voit. Everybody loves Voit. He's a fan favorite, but I'm tired of having players that we can depend on health wise. Like, can we have some durability in this team? Like, Voit, we all know healthy, 20 plus home runs easily. Like, he's one of the top, but he's always getting injured. And Matt Olson, that I know of, he doesn't have an injury history, right?
No,
Matt Olson.
I don't think so.
nope.
Like, he's durable. Like, I need an elite first baseman. You know, it takes off the pressure off the shortstop, the third base. If we have Cabrera or Peraza playing short, you know, it won't be as much pressure on him because Matt Olson can just scoop up everything and he can play elite defense. But with Luke Voit, like we said, Pete, it was going to be very awkward if he comes back. Very awkward.
With who?
Or even bring up Rizzo. I'm all right with Rizzo. Nobody's talking about Rizzo. It's like Rizzo is like gone already.
I
don't really-
Rizzo. I think the thing is with Rizzo is that people are seeing that there are some sexier options right now that wouldn't cost a thing.
Yeah.
I think most Yankee fans would say their pecking order will likely be Olsen then Rizzo. I think most Yankee fans would see him as a 1B.
I need to see the contract.
I agree.
honestly,
That's of course a big part of it. I agree with that. That the contract makes a big difference.
Because he's declining.
yeah, I was
Quick.
That's
He's
what
he's gonna want
taking
money
from that.
He's gonna want a good amount of money.
In his body type and like just the way I see him.
Come on,
starting
Joe. He
to
just needs a little
decline.
gabagool. What are you talking about? His body type.
Oh, with the gabagool shortages, he might decline. He might be
The
declining already.
gabagool shortages. We really have riots in this country. Have a gabagool shortage. Let's get to this one here. Another one from Ruben here. Olsen is a must in my opinion, even with Rizzo available. Well, there you go. I agree. I think if Olsen is available, I think you do it. I think you got to try as hard as you can to make that deal work.
I think Olsen's gonna be. I think we're gonna get Olsen. I mean, it's too good to not happen. I think.
Okay. Here's my question. I forgot who reported it. Oh, I think it was Heyman that said that the A's wanted the move. Everybody knows that. The A's are asking for the move for Olsen, as they should, because he just had his best year by far, Gold Glove. But my question is, I told everybody, I tweeted that Cashman is not going to outbid himself. There's not that many teams. There are teams interested in Olsen.
He may
But
not
my
have
question
to.
is,
Cashman
what
might be the only
package-
one really that gave an offer at this point.
that's the reason why I believe Cashman is just sitting back. You know, okay.
Well,
we're gonna wait and see.
this is why you can't play your hand. And once
Exactly.
they made the move to move on from Bob Melvin because they made
There
it
you
about
go.
salary, every
Yeah.
team in baseball that knew they are going to move players are either going to force them to keep them or force them to trade them. And that's why you can't do stuff like that. And at the end of the
Exactly.
day, people don't get it. A lot of the moves you make are telling the league what you're up to, whether you say it or not. It tells
So
teams what you're up to.
So here's my second question. Because we all said that, probably most likely going to take Peraza to be the centerpiece.
That's fine.
But here's my thing. Do you think Cashman thinks that he can pull that off without trading Peraza?
Yes. Because anybody who knows Cashman knows that's a yes.
And you know
Brian
what? I agree with
Cashman
you as
feels
well.
he could pull that off with the Rule 5 guys he just added. Let's be
Do you
real.
think
does
he
that.
can pull that off with them?
Do I think he can? At this point, he actually might be able to.
But here,
Do I think he could? No, I don't think he should be able to. But I am a little concerned with where Oakland stands right now with what they're going to get for Olsen. Either they're going to hold on to him or they're going to say, let's get the most of what we could get. Now, look, people, Yankee fans, and I'm going to be honest, I think Yankee fans seriously undervalue how good Oswald Peraza is. I don't think they truly understand how good this guy is. Oswald Peraza is a legitimate prospect. If you didn't have Anthony Volpe in this organization, Oswald Peraza is the man. He is that damn good. Yeah. So when people say, "Oh yeah, I'll give him up," and then I'll throw, Garcia and this guy, Cashman probably looks at that and goes, "No, why? You guys know you're getting one of the best young players in the league. We're leaving this guy here. Like if we're giving you that, you might have to throw us a pitcher." So there's a hard bargaining there that he's trying to work on. But, yeah, I got a feeling where if you see this deal done, you're going to hear all the little cash god stuff come back because it's going to eventually, potentially be that he doesn't give up the guys we expect him to give up. But we'll see where that goes. I do think when some guys fall off the board, we see a Freddie Freeman's gone, when you see a Rizzo's gone potentially, maybe you see teams like the Mariners or the Brewers who have legitimate prospect pools to say, all right, well, we're going to throw a quick knock him out offer there and get this guy over here. So, as much as we're saying they're sitting back, maybe Oakland's doing the same thing.
I'll be scared. Boston might creep up. I keep saying it to people. Boston needs a first baseman. And people be like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen." Yeah. I'm like, "Okay, don't be surprised." Boston out of nowhere, like, you know what? Okay.
That guy would hit 340 in Boston.
Oh, easily.
I'm telling you, because everybody said, "Oh, it's only the Yankees are interested." Oh, no, don't fall for that. The Yankees not the only one.
Not at all. Chris Colon with a super chat. Do you guys think that Story would accept a 1-year deal for, let's say, $25 million to $30 million with the Yankees to build up his value for the next year? Try to get a big contract. Well, the thing about that is I am not against that at all. I would actually like that. I think I told you guys that that's something I would seriously consider. Now, the question is, does he accept it? Would he accept something like that? I don't know. Do I think it could make sense depending on if you see these guys start falling and seeing Seager sign and Correa sign? Does he sit back and go, well, do I end up going to a team like Texas? Or do I try to win this year with a team like the Yankees and then be the only shortstop along with not Chris Taylor, and what's his name?
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner as being the top free agents available on the offensive side. And maybe I could play second, and maybe I could say I could play third and really open things up, go to the Yankees, maybe have a chance to win a World Series and put up big numbers in the American League outside of Coors and then earn myself a giant contract. I think it's a late possibility. I don't think it happens early. I think that's a late possibility.
I think a CBA lockout could also lead to a lot of guys taking a 1-year deal like that.
Well, Austin, you're right. Because think about it. What if it doesn't clear up till February? You got to sign quick.
Yep.
So either you're going to start seeing a lot of flurry of moves before it gets the lockout, which I believe is December 2nd.
They would lock out on the 2nd if
no
CBA is reached by the 1st.
By the 1st. So, yeah, you got a few days left here. Maybe we get a little Thanksgiving treat from somebody. But we'll eventually get into this chat, too, of guys how we would go about it. But I do want to get to the super chats here. Ruben with another one. I think there are some good moves. Florial or Marte in center. Shortstop, Story or Peraza. First base, Olsen and catcher Stallings. Is there a way we get Olsen without Peraza? Well, that's what we just talked about, and I think it's a potential, but I agree with Austin in the sense is that they don't have to accept it. And Peraza would be the guy that I would want if I'm Oakland, because you could pencil him in immediately. And what are you telling your fan base there? Well, look, we think we got one of the best prospects in baseball, and he's already here with us. We're not going to let him stay down in the minors. We want to have him start making that production. Now, look, if I'm Oakland, I already told you guys this. I'm going to ask the Yankees off the bat for 4 guys. Peraza, Florial, Garcia, and a Schmidt. Or another starting pitcher. Maybe not a heel because I don't think they'll do that. The reason why, or maybe a King, or maybe a Mike King. The reason why I'm saying that is my fan base now needs to understand, yes, we traded a star, but we got 4 guys who are immediately on our 25-man roster, 26-man roster. That's my sell to the fan base.
Yeah.
I know it might not be the sexiest thing in the world, but I think in a move like that, and that's the same thing I talked about, and to hell with it, we'll jump into it now. Ruben also says, I could see Bogarts at second base with Correa or Baez at shortstop. I could see that too. I could definitely see that too when it comes to the Red Sox. But what I was talking about this too when everybody brings up a guy like Reynolds, Brian Reynolds in Pittsburgh. Reynolds would be an amazing trade, but you better be ready to surrender Jason Dominguez because they're not doing that without one of your 1 or 2. So you got to make the choice there. Do you consider Volpe to be the guy, or do you consider Dominguez to be the guy? Now, I'd almost clear out that farm for a player like Reynolds. I think he's that good. I've been following him for years. I hear people tell me about his personality, his attitude. He would be perfect for the Yankees. And him on top of that order, you're talking about a guy that would score 120 runs. Easy 120
Switch
runs.
hitter.
Switch hitter, speed,
Switch hitter.
everything he does. So, I mean, Austin, I want to ask you this because I think I've talked to you less than any of these guys in here. Would you be willing to part with those type of names? Would you be open to saying I'll deal Dominguez?
Yes.
A lot of Yankee fans aren't.
Brian Reynolds is what you hope Jason Dominguez turns into.
Bingo. And that just hurt my shoulder. But bingo. Bingo. 150%. Where is this mindset at that we're holding on to a guy that we hope to see in 2 or 3 years? When we could get an all-star now that is terrific.
To anyone who doesn't want to trade Dominguez, if the roles were reversed in 2016 and the Yankees are the Cubs, would you have traded Gleyber Torres for Aroldis Chapman, knowing what we know now? Cubs don't win that World Series without Chapman.
No.
They don't make it to the World Series without Chapman.
Not at all.
That's true. Yeah.
And now you look at what Gleyber is, who probably was touted about as highly as they're currently touting Dominguez.
Yeah.
And Dominguez isn't much younger than Gleyber was at the time.
Nope.
Because wasn't Gleyber 19?
When he got traded, yeah, because he came up in what? Not the next year, the following year. He was 21.
Yeah, when he was 21. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, you're on to something there, Joe. I mean, I think we've mentioned Reynolds often, multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm giving up one of them.
I would surrender him.
Yeah, I think, Austin took it. He said exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you're basically trading JD for Reynolds, and that's who we think that he's going to be. And why wait?
Hopefully.
Why wait? Yeah, why take the chance and wait when you could win now?
I mean, that's basically his ceiling. I mean, you could hope that's his ceiling.
Yeah. It's because everyone falls in love with these media talking heads.
It's terrible.
That say, oh, he's Bo Jackson, Mike Trout, and Mickey Mantle in one body.
Come on.
Like,
so if Dominguez bats 260, we're gonna bash Dominguez because the media hyped him up.
I know people who bash Hideki Matsui because he wasn't the second coming of Babe Ruth because they listened to the media.
That's true. And Matsui, you talk about arguably one of the better Yankee signings of all time. He's up there.
Yeah.
Matsui gave the Yankees everything. I mean, he wasn't the 50 home run hitter he was in Japan, but Matsui was an ultimate professional hitter. He was never, over challenged. He never looked like he was, in too high of a level. Matsui had great years with the Yankees.
Yeah.
As a kid who really didn't get to watch his whole tender and understand it, I'll never forget that at bat against Pedro.
Oh, terrific!
I'll never forget it.
And then he got repaid by saying bye-bye.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what can you do? Ruben says also with better infield, my goodness. With better infield defense at catcher, first base, and shortstop will drastically improve Montgomery. It will help getting the outs necessary to go deeper into games. That's another good point. And why I swear I'm going to make I got to make a t-shirt. Defense is production.
I think I said that with Stallings, right?
I'm telling you,
getting
man.
Stallings in an infield, I think Monty just gets even better.
I'm telling you, and then there you go. Johnny leads right into it. We have about 30 minutes, roughly about 30 minutes remaining in here. I think this is what everybody wants to hear, likely. Johnny says, what are your Yankee predictions this offseason? So, Johnny, it's hard to give a prediction, but what I'll say is, what would we do? What would be, if we are in charge here, what are the couple of things that we will look to do player-wise, free agent-wise? I don't know if we've got to get into salaries. But, I mean, hey, the hell with it. I'll jump out here first, and I'll tell you guys what I would do. I think I said this before. I would reach out to Trevor Story. I'll see what it would take. I originally start off with short-term deals. I don't look to lock them up 5, 6, 7 years. I do not look to do that. I try to sell them on the idea of winning. I try to sell them on the players and what we're building. I also try to sell them on the other people we're talking to get an idea of what this roster is going to look like. One of the other guys I do go out there and get, and I get Robbie Ray. And again, I know everybody probably saw, Pete, you're a fanboy. You've been talking about it forever. Well, I have been one, but two, he's proven me right. So I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder here. And I'm sorry, but I fall in love with the idea of having two pitchers up top that can strike out 500 batters in a season. That is unheard of. And the Yankees, all it takes is a little schkarol for them to go do it. That's it. Just money. That's all it takes. If you could add Robbie Ray to that rotation along with Garrett Cole, that is stupid good. That is stupid good. I go out there, I look to have two trades. That's it. Two trades only. Olsen and Stallings. What you give up, you give up. Do I give up Peraza for Olsen? Yes. Do I give up Heel for Olsen? Yes. Whatever else it takes, we consider it. I have Florial on my bench because I don't think Aaron Hicks goes anywhere. I would personally try to get rid of him, but I think Hicks is in there. Shortstop, I said Story. Third base, I stay with Gio. And I'll tell you what I would also try to do along in that deal is I try very hard to get one of their starting pitchers and move Glaber. Because I'm sorry, the Yankees' best team is with DJ LeMahieu at second base. That's the best team the Yankees could put on the infield has DJ LeMahieu at second base. So I guess if you look at it, you got Stallings at catcher, Olsen at first, LeMahieu at second, shortstop Story, third base Gio, center field I stay with Hicks. As much as I would love Marte, I'll leave Hicks out there because I know the Yankees are going to save money because I think I probably only spent about, if I'm going, let's say I'm going $25 million a year for Story, 25 even for Ray, that's 50, 58, 3 more, 60 something. I didn't add much at all to the payroll. And I'm okay with that if they want to go that route as long as they make all those moves. That's what I'm looking at. Bench, maybe you bring a VR in. I mean, that's a lot done. There you go. Look at that. Think about Cole, Ray, and Manaea. Cole, Ray, and Bassett.
Three-headed monster right there.
But here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing about what I just said. It's actually extremely realistic.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there where you're like, Pete, come on. That's not happening. Those are all almost minor things. Most of the big names are money. And none of them are a $300 million guy. The big ones are money. Everything else is trade some prospect capital. And it's not even guys that are going to cost you Dominguez or Volpe. Stallings isn't going to cost you much at all. I think he costs you maybe maybe two of your top 15, and then maybe another guy. Maybe two of your top 10, 5 to 10. I think if you dangle Luis Medina, they'll take it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't do that, I don't think. But I think if they say, hey, we'll do a deal like that, throw another low guy in there, okay. I want to win a World Series, I'll do it. So, yeah, maybe you're giving up a little bit. We forgot about Luis Severino, too, in there. So you have Sevy and Monty rounding out the rotation. I don't think what I just said is unrealistic at all. So, RB, Joe, whoever wants to jump in next.
We pretty much have the same plan, but there's a few things that I would do differently. Maybe you thought of it or didn't add it. I would obviously, the first thing I would do is I would start getting that catcher position. I would do Stallings at catcher, and I would do so like you said, 2 trades. One would be obviously Stallings, and that would be Olsen at first. By that Olsen at first, I would make a big ass trade. I want one of their pitchers. I want Bassett or I want Manaea. I don't care. Take who you want. I think at this point you have to empty that farm system, and you have to get Olsen and the pitcher out of there, so that adds in another pitcher into the rotation. It locks up first. It locks up catcher with those trades. Then you go out. You sign Story for shortstop. For center field, I think we could take Marte out of the equation because I think what they're going to do is they're going to put Hicks out there and they're going to platoon Florial, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with Florial platooning Hicks.
Shockingly, I'm okay with that too.
And then because you do, so that would be just the diamond out there, and we would have Cole, possibly Manaea, Bassett, Sevy, Monty, and then either King, Schmidt, or somebody else in the farm. And
wait. Why would you have to have one of them as your 5th starter?
because I'm trading one of the guys. We need
Oh, okay.
prospects. We need prospects for the
Okay.
deadline. There's going to
Okay.
be some crazy thing that happens. So after that, I'm going to trade guys like Gary and Duhar. You're going to get some value out of that. Maybe a low-level prospect, an arm, because we're going to need prospects to trade at the deadline. Something's going to happen. We're going to need a pitcher. You have to be prepared for that. So I would trade all those guys that aren't going to do anything, and then I'd start filling that bench up with guys like Florial, Cabrera, maybe even go sign a guy like Villar. And I think that would be the best bet because I think we need to empty that farm system first to start doing trades in the offseason and then recoup whatever we spent and get it ready for the deadline in case anything happens.
Whoever wants to go next.
Good, Arby. You look ready. You opened your mouth. I heard the
Arby is
I'm
hype.
like Arby's got it.
He wants
Listen,
everybody to know what Arby would do.
Listen, like I said, this can be a missed off season for Cashman. There's plan A through Z. Our first story, try to see like you said, Pete, try to convince him, hey, 1 year, 2 year deal. Let's see, how you perform, and then we could go from there. So Story will be my shortstop. Matt Olson is the obvious choice, my first choice for first base. But I'll try to see if I can get Olsen plus one of their pitchers, Bassett, Manaya. Preferably Manaya. I would like another left-handed pitcher in that rotation because I think Monty's the only left-handed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Manaya would be a lefty too, if you were able to.
Well,
get
or Cortez, if you want to rely on Cortez.
Cortez also, yeah.
Oh yeah, gee. So, but if we could just get Matt Olson, that's fine. But I would like either Robbie Ray, and this name I'm gonna throw out. It's probably not realistic, but hey, if Cash can try somehow convince this pitcher to come, Matt Scherzer. I've been on him for so many years since he was. You guys know.
Yeah.
Like try to give him not like a Bauer deal. Like try to do something like convince. Hey, we know you don't like New York for whatever reason that is, but you behind Garrett Cole. Can you imagine that in the postseason? Garrett Cole and Scherzer back to back. So for pitching, one of the ace pitchers, if not Robbie Ray or Matt Scherzer. And to be honest, I can't stand Hicks. So I'm all right with Florial, but platooning with Hicks and Florial, I can't stand Hicks. I'm done with Hicks.
RB wants Hicks
I'm
nowhere
gonna try to
near
go hard at Marte.
Could tell, my man.
He could go to
Hey, quickly, real quick. Let me throw this one around to you guys real quick because Sports Talker's in here and he made a pretty decent point. He said, "What if you get Marte and you actually put him at his original position for a stopgap, which is shortstop?"
Second or short.
Why
did he move off short? Was his defense?
I don't know if it was defense because I know it could have potentially be. I would like to know, but who was the short? They had a young shortstop that came up that never really turned out to be much.
Oh, in Seattle?
Nick Ahmed too in Arizona. So I don't know exactly what the reason was. And I don't know how good. I think his defense was actually very good at short.
And doesn't he play second base as well?
He does.
Yeah.
Second and center field.
Well, see, that's interesting, and that's outside the box thinking, and that's truly what the Yankees need to do. But see, the thing that worries me, and this is like going back to my Kevin Kernan interview, is that they're not seeking as much advice anymore from advanced scouting. Advanced scouting will tell you this stuff. Analytics doesn't necessarily tell you this.
My only concern with Mark Cattell is injury.
He does get injured often.
That's you guys know since last year, I did a video on it for the trade deadline last year. Also, my go-to guy would be Cattell Marte to trade for him.
He's an awesome player.
Oh, yeah. I think he's a trader as well.
So the last time that he hardly played short in 2020 and 2019. He played 222 and a third there in 2018. -2 defensive runs saved and 2.5 UZR 150. If you go to 2016, which was over 1,000 innings there, -2 defensive runs saved, but -11.5 UZR 150.
Yeah,
5 or 6 years later.
Not too exciting. Yeah, not too exciting at all. Not
So,
too
yeah,
exciting on
so-
that one. So Arby, yeah, go ahead. Continue your off season.
But I would try to, yes, I gotta get Hicks out. He has a friendly contract. It's $10 million a year, right?
Yeah.
That he has.
Yeah,
mean,
but
it's friendly if you're
nobody's
playing.
taking. I was about to say, yeah, nobody's taking that right now, unless you're adding a legitimately good
Prospect.
prospect to it and paying some of that money.
Listen, so be it. Keep Hicks away. Have him golf. Have him play in the Winter League. Keep him away from New York. I can't stand him anymore. But yeah, Starter Marte, Story, Matt Olson, and plus a pitcher from the team. If not, try to go with Robbie Ray or even a Kevin Gausman if he doesn't resign. Kevin Gausman. But and Gary Sanchez gotta go. So Stallings will be my catcher. That probably sounds like a fairy tale dream, but it can happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
The way we're going so far basically shows that the Yankees don't need to spend money, and they could do better with the roster than just going out and spending money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing too that I definitely want to bring up, because Yankee fans, they'll hear us talk, and a lot of Yankee fans just say, "All right, well, they're the Yankees, right? They got to go out there and spend all this money in the world." I'm not against that. It's not my money, one, and I do want the Yankees to run the way the Yankees run, which is that they go out there and sign the best guys when they have the chance to do it. What I'm saying is, it'll be different, right? If this free agency and players that we know are available weren't as attractive as they are. That's the difference this offseason, is that Carlos Correa is not the only shortstop available. That there are other first basemen the Yankees can go get if they moved on from Anthony Rizzo. That there are other catchers that production is defense is production, that you could make up and change at that position and not lose a lot. So I think that is the reason why even me, who is very old school mentality when it comes to running the organization, that the Yankees should spend that money they make. I could sit back and say, if somebody came to me and goes, "Hey, look, we don't get those shortstops, but we make about 5, 6, 7 other moves." Well, let me see what those moves are, and I think I could still grade it an A. I think that's the big difference right now where we are. I'm still here.
I think he froze.
Well, froze for a second. But Austin, I'll jump to you to talk about your off season. Then we have some more super chats to get to.
I mean, I'm tired of watching the Yankees penny pinch and watching AJ Preller be what George Steinbrenner would want to be.
Hey, but I was actually told recently, FYI, just about Preller, a lot of people don't think he's a good GM. So I don't know, and again, this is I think I don't want to say if he said it or not during the I think he did. I think Kevin Kernan actually blasted him a little bit on the interview that I did with him. Hopefully, hopefully I did. Basically, what a lot of the word is around there in Padres land is that they have gone full analytics, and that's why a lot of people feel like their team collapsed a lot. Is because they had so many people playing way too many different positions. They thought anybody could play anywhere, and their idea was get the best analytical players and we'll find a spot for them in the roster. And that's the mindset of AJ Preller, is that he doesn't look into advanced scouting. He doesn't care. He thinks numbers are overall going to make up wins. And a lot of times it does, but a lot of times it also doesn't. So I heard that recently, and Kevin Kernan is not a major fan of analytics at all. I think there's wrong on both sides. I think being too, disrespecting, so to say, of old school baseball, but then also being ignorant to analytics is wrong. I think there's a balance in the middle that you need to have. Some teams have that. I think the league feels like they're one of the teams, for an example, that are going full force into the number game than anything else. And a lot of teams feel like, well, look what happened there. Look what happened with Preller. He thought he was too big for his britches, too smart. Hasn't worked out too well, has it? So, that's the thing.
So it's like that Simpsons episode where Marge drafts Homer like 5 kickers.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. No. Okay. That makes sense. But in terms of aggressive, I'm going to be like AJ Preller. I kind of said it earlier.
He is aggressive. We know that.
Marcus Semien is my shortstop.
Okay.
I'm building a deal around Peraza and probably Luis Heel to get me Matt Olson. I am building a deal around Gleyber Torres and Jason Dominguez for Jose Ramirez.
God, I would love that to happen.
That'd be Christmas,
I would be
man.
ecstatic.
I'm getting Jacob Stallings.
I'll tell you right now, I will do a 24-hour live stream if the Yankees ever got Jose Ramirez.
I'm there with you.
At least he wouldn't be able to smash Cole anymore.
And if there's enough money left, I'm getting Starling Marte.
My God, imagine that. Imagine that 1-2 punch.
Oh, and I didn't say Jacob Stallings there, did I?
No, but
I'm getting either Stallings or Carson Kelly.
I gotta jump in on that one. Can you imagine a 1-2?
Marte and Ramirez.
Oh my God.
Followed by
Marte,
Judge.
Ramirez, followed by Aaron Judge, followed by Olsen, followed by Stanton, by Gallo. Get the frig out of here.
This would be I'm gonna be the show league.
But here's the thing: it's not realistic.
Well, nothing is when it comes to the Yankees, and that's the problem. That's why we're all sitting here, and that's why whether they say I seen somebody here about you guys are being unrealistic. No, we're not at all being unrealistic. We are the New York Yankees. This is the problem.
If Brian Cashman,
even if you don't believe it, even if you're sitting there saying you're waiting on the Yankees to make a move because you're anxious because you know they can and they should.
Exactly.
That's the problem here. Everybody knows it. So everything Austin said is not unrealistic. It's actually very realistic.
If Brian Cashman said to hell with this farm system because I've got Aaron Judge who's about to be on the wrong side of 30. I've got Garrett Cole who's about to go into who's a couple of years away from a very sketchy back end of a contract. Same with Giancarlo. I've got to win now.
This is the
I've
mega
got to
offseason
win now. And I've got Ramirez for 2 years, and Gleyber Torres and Jason Dominguez is keeping Cleveland on the phone. 100%. Peraza and Heel is keeping Oakland on the phone. There's going to be more involved in there, but it's keeping them on the phone.
100%. You're getting. What are you getting? I know they're top 5. They're 2 of the Yankees' top 5 prospects. They immediately come your best 2 prospects.
Yep.
Come on. And on top of it, Austin, they're not 4 or 5 years away. They're there now.
No.
Come on.
Well, Dominguez maybe.
Oh, Dominguez.
Maybe not 4 or
Dominguez,
5, but 2, 3.
Dominguez definitely. But if you're talking about, let's say for an example, Heel and Peraza for Oakland, they're there. That's a great sell to your fan base. I mean, your fan base.
Gleyber Torres is there right away.
Gleyber Torres is there right away. There's a lot there. So let me get to these super chats here. Ra coming through for us. He says Yankees need a pitcher behind Cole. They cannot waste his prime years. Yankees acquired Burnett to go along with CeCe. They can't leave Cole out to dry.
I like that.
I agree 100% with Ra, and I've been saying it, guys. I don't know if I was the only one that mentioned Robbie Ray, and I think Arby you did too, or you mentioned Scherzer. But I don't understand. I don't understand how you see that, and you look at that availability and just the potential of what. Somebody even here said, "You guys got to stop this stuff about the trashing on Robbie Ray." Somebody said Robbie Ray equals Carl Pavano. Don't do that.
Oh gosh.
Don't do that. That's such a bad comparison. I said this. You guys know I said this. If Robbie Ray came to the Yankees, I don't expect him to be a 2-something ERA guy. Even if he went up to a mid-3, if he went up to a 3.8, I still wouldn't be mad. As long as he's healthy, you get him because he's guaranteeing you 200-plus Ks. Folks, let me just, I got to say it again, and I keep saying it. Don't compare anybody to somebody who has the best K-9 rate in Major League Baseball history. You're comparing Carl Pavano to that? What do you do? You can't do that because you can't be taken seriously. But Ra, I am right there with you. I feel the Yankees need a horse behind Cole.
I want to shout Ra out in that super chat because I talked about this with you guys. And when we signed Cole, I was maybe one of a few who said I think they need to guarantee Wheeler next to Cole. Because who was the horse behind Cole these last couple of years?
Joe, what was Wheeler's deal? What was his deal?
Wheeler's
again
deal,
with,
like 500,
Five.
125, something like that.
I was
So
thinking
it's-
5 and 115.
It's
So
gonna be an
Yeah.
absolute bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Huh.
so I look. That's what I look back at, because now, I mean, there's nobody better than who could have been Wheeler behind Cole that you can go out and get.
Mid-season, I'm telling you guys right now, watch out for Aaron Nola.
Oh yeah.
If Aaron Nola bounces back, this is the last year. He's going to be a free agent. Now, of course, Philadelphia got some money. They could re-sign him. But Aaron Nola could be a guy, too, that you could really target. I don't think you get him early because Pittsburgh, the Philadelphia's looking to win. But Aaron Nola is going to be in a contract year. If Philadelphia falls out of it early, especially near the deadline, that would be a hell of a get to. So again, that's going back to like what Joe was saying about guys you can go out there and add. Got another super chat here from Ruben. Ketel Marte was moved off because of Nick Ahmed, and Ketel was a plus defender at shortstop last time I checked. At Baseball Savant, whatever the hell it is. I have brought that up before. I don't think he was that good at short, actually. Just to confirm, Austin, right?
not on Fangraphs anyway.
Not on Fangraphs anyway. Yeah, I don't think he was overly too good there. Johnny also says I would package a deal for Olsen and Manaya. Oh, and Sports Talker again with another really good one. And actually, me and Francis were joking about this, but it makes a lot of sense. How about Mondesi as a trade option at short?
Isn't Kansas City looking to win fairly soon?
Well, think
I
about
mean,
it.
they just locked up Perez. They've got Bobby Witt Jr. coming up.
I mean,
Mondesi, Merrifield.
Where is Mondesi playing next year?
I don't like that.
Is he going to play second? Does he move the second base? Because I'm pretty sure Witt is going to play outfield, but they're not going to move Bobby Witt Jr.
Nicky?
He's playing short.
That's for sure, yeah. Just give me a story. Just give me a story.
I don't think
no stopgap. Just get us an elite shortstop, one of the top 5 shortstops in the offseason, story preferably, and just go. Because to be honest, if Cashman's considering, oh no, we're gonna get a stopgap short, just call up Peraza, call up one of the kids, just have them play.
So I got to answer somebody's question here because this is so stupid, and I've seen this so many times. I hate this. I got to answer this. This is just so stupid. Ray is overrated. He throws max effort every time. It's going to lead to arm problems. Because he grunts? Have you not watched Max Scherzer his whole career and the guy's never injured? Max Scherzer been screaming since 20 years old. He's never stopped. What does that got to do with anything? Because he grunts when he throws the ball. That doesn't necessarily... Okay, hold on. What pitcher doesn't throw max effort?
Yeah, I don't want a pitcher who's not throwing max effort.
Right?
I'm very confused by that. I don't want a pitcher that's saying, okay, I'll give 70% today because it's a 0-1 count or it's a 1-1 count in the first inning. I'm not saying you dial it up every pitch to 99, but you're talking about max effort. This is the major league level. I'm pretty sure max effort is hitting your spots, throwing a changeup in the dirt. I think that takes max effort. Because a guy grunts doesn't mean anything. Sports Talker also says Witt is actually going to third base. So I can see why that still makes sense there for them. But I don't understand the Yankee fans' hatred or anger towards Robbie Ray. And guys, it wasn't his first good year. I don't know where that wasn't his first good year. Was it his first great season? Yes. But it wasn't his first good year. You could always see that Robbie Ray only needed to drop the walk rate.
Exactly.
And what is it? Pete Walker, right? Pete Walker's the pitching coach, Toronto. He fixed them. But
for me, I don't think he's overrated to an extent, but I don't think he's a number 1 or number 2. So,
but who's a sure thing? That's my thing. You're the Yankees. You don't got to. If you hit and miss, it's okay. You're the Yankees. Who's a sure? Is Garrett Cole a sure thing next year?
I think he comes back and he wins that Cy Young next year.
He might. But here's my question.
But it's Garrett Cole though.
But is there questions?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Is there concerns?
Of course.
If you got Robbie Ray, I already said it. I don't expect him to be who he was last year. If I got Kevin Gausman, do I expect him to be the guy he was with the Giants, with the Yankees? I don't know. There's concerns.
That's why
all
I'm saying that. I think you said it, P, a while ago. We can't expect this rotation to be the same exact way next year.
No
We
way.
will hope so. But reality speaking, probably might not be the case.
Hold on.
That's why
Somebody. Okay. This is one of the guy hating on Ray. Listen to what he says. Ray is a number 3 at best. Good. If his best is a number 3, give me him.
Is he going to be paid like a 3 though?
He's not.
No.
He's going to be paid like a 2 and a 1. That's why I don't
So
want
if
him.
it's $24 million a year
For
then
number 3,
you pencil him in with the rest of your guys. But you gotta think about it. What wins in the postseason?
wouldn't you rather go out and just
Strikeout
get
pitching.
Manaea?
If you can, though, I'm talking about the singular guy right now. I'm not talking about what else we do because there's a lot you could do. If Robbie Ray is at best a number 3, hell, what the hell did Eduardo Rodriguez just get yearly?
77 for 5, so just under 18.
Okay.
That's not. I think he got a pretty good deal.
Come on.
For what he
You're
can
not
bring.
gonna. You wouldn't want to give
Or
Robbie Ray
16.
6 more a season? If it took
course.
that, come on.
I mean, if we're gonna give him 25, let's go give 40 to Scherzer. Make him come to New York.
If he wants to come, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The strikeouts aren't going
He'll be
anywhere.
an upgrade.
And on top of
No,
it,
that's for sure.
what division did Robbie Ray do it in last year? Was
Yeah,
it
at
not
least.
the American League East?
But
Was it not in a bandbox?
He wasn't great against Boston or us, though. Does he do that against the Blue Jays?
You
all
know
that
why?
right-handed hitters.
He's going to give up home runs to him, I'll tell you that much. But there's also going to be games where he might give up,
But does
2
he
or 3
also
runs.
come? Do we get the Blue Jays, Robbie Ray? I think we've talked about that before. Do we get that?
But that's the risk of baseball, and that's the risk of being the Yankees. That's the risk you don't have like other teams do. You can lock a guy
That's
into a
right.
big contract
Listen,
and be okay.
if we don't spend anywhere else, then I wouldn't be mad. Like I don't think as a Yankee fan you should be mad if the Yankees got him. But I mean, I just think there's better guys out there that can do the
And
same
then-
thing he can for less money.
And then
That's
we
a
have
tough one. That's a
I feel
tough
like-
one.
You don't think Manaea would come here and kill it?
Well, it depends.
Somebody.
My thing is, who's the better strikeout pitcher that's available?
We have 2 strikeout pitchers already in that top.
Why not have 3?
You're right. Why not have 3? But it's not something that's needed.
Wait, but who's the strikeout guys on the team?
Cole and Sevy.
No, don't give me Sevy. Sevy doesn't count.
Can't count on
can't.
Sevy.
No.
Can't count on
No, you
Sevy.
can't, no.
Sevy
Same
can't
reason
count.
you couldn't count on Tyone or Montgomery at the start of the year last
that,
year.
Sevy can't
that's
count.
that's the concern of mine. So there's rotations, a lot of question marks. Even
Well,
with Cole,
don't you guys already hear Brian Cashman saying, well, we did have our starting pitcher in rotation added, and that's Luis Severino. I mean, I hear that. I can hear that right now.
Again, yeah,
I
know.
mean, I'm okay with it
That's-
as long as you have a plan to ease him in and don't throw him to the wolves like they threw Tyone to the wolves.
Correct. I also agree. There
Exactly.
got to be a plan for Luis. Because, see, Joe, that's my issue with Severino is that you cannot depend on the guy to be a number 2. And that's
No, not at all.
I feel like that's something the Yankees would do because we've seen this.
I
We've seen
gave
them
you
do
guys.
this.
I think I gave you guys who I would, if possible, which I don't. I think the Reds already said it. My number 2 would be Castillo, but I think they said he's the one guy that we're not trading.
Him and
Yeah,
Miley
Yeah,
that
or
limits,
Tyler
yeah.
Millay.
That was
or
my
however
number
you say
2.
it.
Yeah, he's off limits. The Reds. I'm saying.
But see, that's my thing. I love the idea because I don't think you'll ever get that. You don't get that chance often. Arguably you can have the 2 best strikeout pitchers in baseball on your team, and I think that's extremely attractive. The Yankees don't need Robbie Ray. They don't need him to be the guy he was last year. They wouldn't need that.
Nope.
They just need him to be healthy
Give
and
me
pitch.
Ray.
If I'm Robbie Ray, by the way, I'm staying with the Jays. I ain't going nowhere.
Oh yeah.
If I'm Robbie Ray, I'm
But
staying
that-
with the Jays.
I don't
'Cause
think he's.
That Pete Walker, whatever they did over there, worked out very, very well. And I'm sticking with that.
But
On
you know-
top of that, let's not front here because we're Yankee fans. The Jays aren't too far behind us depending on what they do.
No.
Not at all.
They're
That's
gonna
the
be
other reason I
aggressive.
love Semien, by the way.
There you go. And that's also
you
the
can-
attractive part of getting maybe both of them. You take them away from the Blue Jays. Or either one
That's
of them.
exactly what I was gonna say. If you get prior Ray from the Blue Jays, that'll be huge. And also, you don't think Matt Blake and Robbie Ray can work like, hey Ray, what you did over there in Toronto, we could do it over here. What did you change? And Robbie Ray can just tell him. You don't think that will work with Matt Blake?
Well, Blake seems like he does a good job. with the pitchers. He seems like he whatever it is that he does over there, he does something well that works out for everybody. Anthony also says, would you try and sign Chris Taylor as the stopgap for either Peraza or Volpe, since Taylor is very versatile?
No
I don't think that
defense at
works
short
out
is
for that.
horrible.
Yeah, his defense at
no
short is not good.
stopgaps.
Horrible.
And I agree, Joe. I agree with that. I think stopgap is your last case scenario, right? I think stopgap is only okay with Yankee fans if you do go out there and maybe get Olsen and a starting pitcher. You do get a Marte in center field and you trade Gary. I think a lot of Yankee fans will be okay with it.
At that point, you just call up Peraza. You give up Volpe.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Or you sign Brian Cashman favorite, Aldriton Simmons.
Oh my God!
If we're going stopgap, call Philly and get Didi back.
No,
Yeah,
give me
I
Jose
wouldn't-
Iglesias.
Sorry, I
Give me
didn't hear that.
Iglesias.
What?
Give me Iglesias.
Iglesias put on a little bat show last year. He started to get a little hot with his bat.
He did.
I've been a big fan of Jose Iglesias for years.
You know, his defense isn't as good as I thought it was.
No.
My understanding is, and I haven't looked into it too much, but I heard that he's not actually that good defensively. I just want the I'm going to take so much shit for this. I just want the Yankees to get Simmons. I want there to be interest, like major interest shown, because I want to see how everybody reacts to it. Not even if they get him. I just want to, like somebody wrote in the comment already, Simmons is a bad word to Yankee fans. I just want to see like Heyman come out and be like, Yankees are talking to Aldriton Simmons camp. Deal is imminent. That would be, oh my God, just to see what Yankee fans would do.
I think Adam King would go to the stadium, he'd light it on fire. That stadium would be light on fire the same night.
Weren't they trying to trade for him last
Do you guys know that King blocked me and Felix?
Yeah.
I'm blocked too.
Yeah, he blocked me and
He
Felix.
blocked everybody.
Felix controls
Everybody.
his site, though. Adam, if you're watching, your site is controlled by us. We will shut you down. We'll shut you down, King.
Have you guys watched World War Z when the zombies, they just start piling up to go climb the gate? It's going to be Adam and all his supporters at King Source.
Well, remember, he's the fastest runner in the world. I love that guy. No, guys, I think we're joking that Simmons is going to end up happening. I don't think that's the area we go. So, I mean, to wrap it up here for us, I don't think I missed a super chat. Let me just double check and see. No, I got that. I think I got all those ones there. Yeah, man. I mean, it's an interesting time. We talked a little bit about Frazier and all that, but my thing too with Frazier, I think I told you guys that I don't know if I actually put a tweet out about it. I heard that there's a serious problem there with CTE. And that a lot of Yankee people believe he'll never play baseball again. I hope that's not the case. He's a free agent. I do believe he gets a minor league deal from somebody. I think that will definitely happen.
The Mets.
And they'll see what happens with him and go from there. But unfortunate, definitely unfortunate. But I think, this is kind of that telltale scenario, right, of holding on to guys for too long. We missed out. It's a known fact. We missed out on Robbie Ray early. We missed out on Garrett Cole earlier because of Clint Frazier. He was part of those deals that the Yankees didn't want to surrender additional guys with if they gave him up. So that's fact. So I think when we think about our demand, not everybody's situation is going to be the same, but when we think about deals that could potentially involve top flight guys right now that are also controllable, I think you have to go out there and seriously consider moves like that when you are the New York Yankees. Like Austin said, these guys are starting to get a little older now. Garrett Cole's only going to get older. You want to win with him. That contract only looks good if you win with him.
Yeah, our window is now.
And that's all there is to it.
Gotta take it, man. I just wonder which first top-tier shortstop signs first before the lockout.
Seager.
Really? I had Seager as well.
Yeah, I think Seager. Glenn has a question for us real quick. He said, hi, guys, and a hypothetical question. If the Yankees missed the opportunity to get an elite shortstop, does Aldriton Simmons, is he actually like legitimately an option? And I say, yeah, I think he actually
100%.
is. The Yankees.
Cashman's loved him.
He loved him for a long time. He actually, if you guys remember, that crazy deal back in the day, he was part of it.
Wasn't it like Judge and
Sevy
Bird
and Judge.
for
Sevy? It was Sevy, Judge. They were going to get back
Hayward, Simmons, and Kimbrel?
Hayward, Simmons, and Kimbrel. I think, no, was it Kimbrel? I know
Yeah,
Hayward
I was
and
trying to
Simmons
think
were
of that
definitely in it. I know it was Hayward and Simmons were definitely in it. So, and then also, Brian Cashman also tried to trade for him this year. So there is evidence of the Brian Cashman love factor there that he wants. Richard brings up a good point too about Robbie Ray, and I'll also add on top of it. He said Robbie Ray has a strong lower half. He's just a solid person. I was told recently about Robbie Ray, and I actually knew this for a little bit, but I think it was also, I heard it also, but then I was also told personally about him that he is an absolute bulldog, and the quote was, he doesn't fuck around. That's exactly what the quote was to me. That he is a guy that if the team needs somebody to go after someone, he'll do it. He's just a bulldog. He's an old school bulldog. And I think that is missing in a lot of the games today. But even another starting pitcher I'd keep an eye on too. I don't think he eventually ends up with the Yankees, but a guy that can make some sense. I'm a big fan of John Gray. I've been a big fan of John Gray for a while. I think taking him out of the Rockies area, I think would actually do very well for him. But I've always been a pretty good fan of John Gray.
So speaking of guys, the
like a
Yanks,
short-term deal.
yeah, probably. Speaking of guys the Yanks had interest in at the deadline, if they miss out on Marte, fill all their other holes, and depending on the prospect costs, what would you guys think of Buxton?
I just don't like it because of the injuries. And I know how good he is if he's healthy, and I get that. But let's not front here and act like it's not going to take a haul to get him. They're going to ask for quite a bit to get him.
Yeah.
So, and I know I just sat here and talked about, well, I trade prospects and I do this, but I would trade elite guys or good players for somebody who I feel like you feel comfortable with doing it. Buxton, to me, it's like, I really want to. Yeah. I just can't do it. Like, if they were like, we'll do it for a mid-tier prospect package, maybe I consider. But we all know they're going to ask for your top guys. They're asking for Peraza off the bat. They're not going to be like, I'm not doing it for Peraza. And I know some people, what if he's healthy? But that's a big what if. Look, what if Aaron Hicks is healthy? He's not going to be horrible. If he's healthy, he's halfway decent.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty bad.
Switch hitter too.
He's halfway decent. I think the problem with Aaron Hicks is that he's really bad defensively. He has not gotten better defensively. And people say, well, just the arm. No, his range was terrible.
His jumps even were horrible last year.
All of it was terrible. So, L.I. Yankee King says we don't need Matt Olson.
God.
We don't need anybody, but damn, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Who do we need? Who do we need?
I can't wait to hear this
sense.
answer.
What is going on here?
I cannot wait to hear this answer.
What's his answer? Aaron Judge?
Who strikes out 16 or 17% of the time, plays Gold Glove defense in Yankee Stadium, hit 270 with 39 home runs.
I want to throw while he answers that.
Austin,
guys, we can put Judge at first.
I was gonna say it's gonna be Judge or Stanton, isn't it, or LeMahieu?
No, I want to ask you guys this question because I think one of us put it in our chat. Would you guys? Somebody actually mentioned this about Bellinger. If the Dodgers call you up and say, would you do Gleyber for Bellinger straight up?
Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Boom.
I'll drive Gleyber to LA.
What's so sexy about Bellinger?
Myself over there.
What's so sexy about Clay Bellinger?
You're losing Gleyber anyway.
Well, no, I'm not. Look, you guys know Gleyber is ass in my opinion. He'll stay that way for a while. But what is the sexy part about Bellinger? That may. I'm not saying I dislike him. Because I think they're both trending this way.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair deal.
To be fair, Gleyber picked it up towards the end, and so did Bellinger in the postseason.
Bellinger in the postseason. But what is it about him, Austin, that's so attractive for you?
Doesn't he play a really good center field?
He
plays a really good center field and a really good first base.
Yeah.
And first base.
I don't need the 2018, 2019 guy. I just need something better than what 2020 and 2021 were. Yeah, I'll take
I'll take the
2017 guy,
2017 guy.
But what if,
260, 30 home
especially
runs.
playing elite defense and center.
what if that is your major addition?
No, they
No,
need a shortstop.
And doesn't he? I mean, I know. Look, the thing I've actually learned this, so we learn things as we go through baseball. I was saying a lot early on. Well, they need guys that strike out less, but everybody strikes out. They need a little less of it. They don't need 3 or 4 guys who don't do it. I understand that. But with Bellinger strikes out at a horrendous rate, doesn't he?
Maybe here, let me pull it up.
I feel like he has a really bad strike, like very,
struck that
very
net-
high.
Put it this way, it certainly
He
isn't.
struck that 94 times this year.
And how many at bats?
94.
300? 320? I don't think he played that much.
315.
Yeah, he broke his leg,
315.
so he did miss the beginning of the year.
His strikeout
Yeah,
rate was
315 at
20.
bats.
Yeah, his strikeout rate was 28.2, which is high, but
Which is what, Joey Gallo territory?
let
Not
me
Joey
see.
Gallo with the Yankees overall, because with the
Okay,
Yankees was much
I was
higher.
gonna say,
Yeah.
I think that's more like young Aaron Judge territory.
Well, that's not true. That's
Um,
not horrendous.
Actually, Gallo even in 20. Well, let's go back to 2019 because I don't like putting stock in 2020. His strikeout rate was 38.4%.
I also
My
think if
God.
you fix Bellinger's swing, it's much more worth it. to
My
have
my
somebody
father
like that
hates
on a-
Gallo. Pops hates Joey Gallo.
I would
Hates
trade
him.
Gallo. I would
I would
trade
trade
Gallo
Gallo.
and Sanchez for literally anything.
And Austin, you probably know more out of analytics than everybody in here.
hmm
Why are the analytic people so in love with Joey Gallo? Is it because of the walk and the power?
The walk, the power, the good defense. I don't. It's not that I think Gallo is a bad player. I just think he's a horrible player for the Yankees.
That's where
He-
I am. That's where
his-
I am right now.
His weaknesses, like the Yankees, his weaknesses are what everyone else's weaknesses are, but they're 10 times worse. Like people want to complain about Judge and Stanton's strikeouts. Judge and Stanton hit what 280 and 270 this
No,
year.
yeah, they batted very high. They for the type of players they are, that's exceptional.
They put the ball in play.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike Trout strikes out a ton
Yeah.
for the type of player he is, but he hits 300. Joey Gallo just doesn't put the ball in play.
I'm just
and
happy.
he
I'm,
doesn't-
I'm happy to hear you say that, to be honest, because the reason why I don't harp on it as much as I probably maybe I should is because I don't think he's not going to go anywhere. There's no way in the world
No.
Brian Cashman gives up that prospect capital, whether it was good guys or not. He gave up enough to get him. He's
Yep.
not going to just say, "All right, it didn't work. I'm moving on." It's not who Brian Cashman is. If you
No.
watch Brian Cashman long
You
enough,
don't
he
think the
doesn't-
Padres would give something for him?
They would. Teams would. Brian Cashman
Why
won't
not?
trade him.
I
Cashman
mean,
won't deal him.
if the opportunity came up to me, I would, and I would put Florial right in that
He's
spot.
Cashman's guy.
But Cashman won't.
That's Cashman's guy.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
the thing
he
about
won't.
Brian Cashman is ego. Everybody knows it. Brian
That's his
Cashman has
guy.
an ego. He is
That's his
not
guy,
going to
too.
give up a guy that he gave up all that stuff for. But I'm happy you bring that up because, I mean, I felt that way for a while about him. I'm like, maybe what am I missing here? But the thing about Gallo that Kernan brought up too, that was very, very good, is that he mentioned all those little quirks that he does. People got mad at Bob Klappich wrote the article about that. He puts everything on the floor. He puts it on, then he'll take it off. It doesn't fit right, and put it back again to do it.
Mhm.
These are things that usually advanced scouts actually have an idea about.
Yeah.
And that's usually something that the Yankees would check in on. And he doesn't believe they did in this situation because he may not be mentally fit to play in New York. When you're hidden in Texas with no expectations, it's a big difference. There's a big difference. So I think those are things that maybe were a little disregarded. And again, I don't blame Brian Cashman for getting him because it was a good move. It made sense. Lefty bat, a little power, maybe one of the better players out there to go get. I don't think it's a bad idea. But
But can we see him having a better season next year, Gallo?
well,
Depending on
I don't
how
know
the
how you
lineup
get-
is
I don't
made.
know- I don't know how you get much worse.
Yeah.
What did he bat? 160 with the Yankees?
Something like that.
No.
And I
thought
think
it was
struck out
190.
like 40% of the time.
No, it definitely
It
wasn't
was
190.
more.
It was like
No, it was less
165.
than that?
I think he ended the year around 190. When they got him, it was
Overall.
like 225.
Over.
I don't know if anybody's checking, but I'll pull it up
I
too.
got it.
Somebody said that Joey Gallo is a crappy version of Adam Dunn.
On it, I mean, do you guys remember when we were talking around the deadline in our chat? I said he was a left-handed outfield version of Gary Sanchez with better defense.
Yeah, you were spot on.
It's exactly what he is.
Based off performance, yeah.
In fact, if Gary played any spot but catcher, I would rather have Gary.
Ryan came through. Yes, for the Yankees, he hit 160. How do you not improve from that?
Well, how many times did he strike out?
A ton.
More than half the time.
I want to say it was
Way more
like
than
40.
half.
I think it was like 40% of the time.
I think it was more than that.
For the Yankees, I think it was way more.
For the
than
Yankees alone, it was more than that. Because he struck out an immense amount of times with the Yankees.
It was a whole run of strikeout for him.
It was awful.
It got to the point that Phil Nevin didn't even trust him after Judge. When he sent Judge home.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But having a guy like Gallo in the 7th and 8th hole would benefit the Yankees. So, I mean, depending on how the lineup's shaped and who we add, I think Gallo would still be valuable to this team.
Well, remember when the Orioles were good and they had Mark Reynolds hitting like 7th or 8th? Because that's a similar offensive profile.
Makes all the sense in the world. That is right. That is spot on. That is spot on because you're right. His production is very attractive at the bottom of an order. But if you're counting on him to be one of the mid-back guys that is going to make up a lot of the production, which the Yankees don't have to have him that way, it's not as nice. He shouldn't be batting that high in an order. Not for a team like the Yankees.
You have him batting 7th and 8th. He gets on and then top of the lineup. Or middle of the lineup gets on and then he hits a 3-run home run. I mean, that's where I see the production. And then obviously with the Gold Glove in left field.
But didn't even Gallo said to Boone, I forgot who it was, that he doesn't want to bat high. He wants to bat low.
I don't think he said that to Boone.
I don't remember seeing that, but it's
yeah,
possible.
I think he said that. I forgot where I saw that. He said, put me at the bottom of the order and then put him high in the order.
I don't know about that.
I don't remember that at all.
He had 88 strikeouts in
Okay, let me get sick.
188 at bats, 228 plate appearances.
So that's what, a little under 50%.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
And that on base percentage that was 379 in Texas was 303 in New York.
My God.
He had a 707 OPS.
He was about as bad as 707 OPS. And okay, here we go. You ready? I just saw this early and I was like, I got to bring this up. Austin, what is a good OPS?
I want to say league average is probably about 720 to 730.
Yep. Above 800, you're a pretty damn good player.
And that was before the juice ball when I knew that number better. So it probably is more like 750.
So above 800, you're a pretty good major league player.
Yeah.
Above average.
Yep.
Trevor Story in his down year was above 800.
Yeah, well over 800.
So I see so many people, he had a bad year, he wasn't good. And also, too, for a lot of the people talking about the splits, I think in like 2018, he hit like 273 on the road.
Can I also bring up one more thing with Story?
Go ahead, please.
He's doing that in a lineup with no protection. You put Story in a Yankee lineup, I promise you he's going to produce.
Imagine Marte and Story back-to-back.
Do you want to really get sick here, Pete?
Let me get sick. I like to make the Yankees love to aggravate me. Let's do it. Why the hell not?
Gary Sanchez OPS last year was 730.
Look at that. Come on. Gary, we're sending you some love, Gary. And a cheese sandwich on the way. Just to fill that tummy. But no, I mean, OPS is actually a stat I actually enjoy. I enjoy looking at OPS. I think it's actually one of the. I think a lot of people say it's actually not a good thing to look at for analytics, but I actually like it. I actually enjoy it sometimes with certain things. Obviously his defense makes up a lot. We know Gallo's very good defensively. I just think the thing is with the team that he's on, and Ruben says on a super chat, Gallo doesn't like to hit in the top 3 of the lineup. So maybe he did say something like that. I think what Gallo needs, and maybe we're wrong, I don't know, but with a lot of the stuff we kind of know about him, maybe he does need to be kind of blended in the lineup a little bit and not be that guy and not be pressured to be that guy. It's kind of hard to do it in New York, when you're brought over to be the guy or to be one of the main factors in the lineup. But I think one of the most important things too, and I guess we'll end on this note, is that I think the 1-2 punch in the order is going to be extremely important this year. I think that's one of the biggest things this team is missing. We saw Anthony Rizzo lead off, and it's stupid. I know he gets on base, and I get that. You get the number 2 guy. That's why they did it with Judge so much. You get him more at bats. I need to go back to 09 Yankees, Jeter and Damon. Yep. We need to get back to that.
Pete.
You got Marte there. You got whoever you could sign as shortstop will be perfect. Out of the top 4 guys, all of those guys would be good at the top of the order. You need to get back to on-base percentage, yes. Average. Oh, my God. Analytics people, don't let your heads explode. Average. Average matters. Batting average matters. And on top of that, a little bit of speed. I saw somebody that say Eddie Rosario would make sense for this team. There's a lot of guys that make sense for the Yankees.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that make sense for the Yankees. But we have all that opportunity to do it. And that's my thing. I want to go around the horn to you guys too. Isn't the top of the order something to look at? I mean, do you guys want to see again DJ LeMahieu batting second or first?
Why not? I mean, DJ at I would consider DJ at second than first. I think we need a leadoff hitter.
Even my thing though with DJ LeMahieu, even if he returns to regular DJ LeMahieu, I don't want him as a table setter. I don't like him in that role.
I don't want him as a leadoff hitter, but I wouldn't be not opposed to him batting second and moving that.
If you got good speed leading off.
Yeah, and it would be the only really option.
That's a Marte is perfect. Starting Marte leading off.
I just don't understand how the Yankees are going to make a lineup with Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks in it.
that's and you want to get even more scared? And Gary Sanchez in it.
That's 30% of the lineup.
I already said this, by the way, and I think you guys know. The Yankees could make 25 different moves. If Gary Sanchez is that catcher, I'm rating the offseason an F. I'm not joking.
Pete,
I'm not even being an asshole about it. I'm just being honest. I can't give them a good offseason. I can't take them seriously. When you've seen all you've seen, and you still put this guy there when nobody wants him. The pitchers don't want him on the team.
I guarantee you Cashman's going to come out in public and say, yeah, we looked at the catching market, this and that, but it wasn't as quite as Gary Sanchez would provide or Higgy.
Yeah, he'll say he doesn't feel there was a significant upgrade.
In 09, was Jeter batting behind Damon, or was Damon in
No, it was Jeter Damon.
No, it was Jeter Damon because they thought if Jeter got on, Damon being a lefty opened up the right side for him.
And let me tell you something. That's the reason that team where it went. That's the only reason that offense took off. It's so bad. Go back to the great Yankee teams. Chuck Knobloch was a great leadoff hitter. He was perfect for them. Jeter number 2.
I mean, that lineup up and down was just insane.
It was timely hitting, everything else.
Prime A-Rod at cleanup.
They dragged at bats. I mean, it was just an unbelievable lineup, but it is very important in my opinion. I don't know. Analytics does this a lot. You get a guy that is a lard ass, like Anthony Rizzo, and I love Anthony Rizzo. I think he's a great player. Anthony Rizzo is not burning anybody. We could probably beat Anthony Rizzo in a race. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just saying, I if we could go back to somewhat something old school, get me some speed at the top of the order, because how attractive is it when you have something like that with the guys behind you?
Imagine that Marte leading off, DJ second, Judge third, Stan cleanup, and Olsen.
That's why I said Marte, if you really look at this team, might be one of the best guys you could go after.
So Pete, I saw this yesterday. I forgot to ask you about it. I don't know if anyone watched MLB Hot Stove yesterday morning, or no? Was it? It might have been Monday morning.
I never watched those shows at all.
It was either yesterday or Monday, or yesterday was Monday. Oh my gosh. So it was yesterday morning. Heyman was on, and they were talking about the Yankees offseason plans, and he was, because he's been heavily reporting on Seager. It's being between the Yankees and Dodgers. He said that people around the league believe if Seager goes back, because of how good Gavin Lux was, they could look to move him back to second, which would then mean that they move Turner. Any thought that could happen, or is that?
I stated something like that in the group. I said if Seager does go back to the Dodgers, I think he'd likely move to third. They would let go of Turner, third base Turner, and they'd keep second base Turner. They'd put him to short, and they would put Lux at second. I think that's exactly what they do.
My thing
Okay.
is, it kind of goes back to the Yankees in a situation like that because would they trade a guy? Excuse me. Whew. Would they trade a guy that they just gave up all that prospect capital for? Even if
Who?
it makes sense for him.
No, not
Andrew
that Turner.
Friedman,
Not
like-
that Turner.
What Turner?
Evan Turner.
I'm talking about
Justin.
third base Turner, Justin Turner.
Justin
I think
Turner.
they're going to lose him anyway. I
Justin
think
Turner to
trade
the
him.
Yankees.
No,
No,
I was
to any
saying
other
Trey.
team.
Then I was saying
okay, I see what
Trey
you mean.
Turner.
Okay.
Right.
And
No,
then
I think they
Joe
would move.
said he thinks they'd move Justin instead.
I think they'd move Justin. I
Oh,
think it'd
okay.
be
Well,
much
I
more
could,
worth it to
yeah,
move Justin.
I could see that. When it comes to the Yankees, I'm just saying I can't see the Dodgers saying, well, we'll give up Trey Turner now just because the prospect capital it took to get him. I don't see that happening. It's kind of like, and it's even more than what the Yankees gave up, obviously, for a Gallo.
Oh, it's a lot more.
But a lot more. So I don't necessarily see them doing it. So with that being said, guys, I enjoyed the nights at the round table today. I think everybody else did. Thank you for having everybody in here. One of the things, of course, I want to mention, Austin, I actually got to send this stuff to you because you haven't seen it yet. But RB seen it, Joe seen it. Nights at the round table is going to have a whole revamp come January. We got a new beautiful logo, intros, all that fun stuff. NYY News TV, guys, in January is going to be something special. If you are not subscribed to the page, make sure you subscribe to the page because you don't want to miss it. Follow RB, follow Austin, follow Joe, follow myself. Everything will be in the description below. I guess to close out, let's close out this way. First Yankee move that they make. Major move the Yankees make. Let's close out like that. A quick, fun prediction. Of course, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Quick, fun prediction that you think the Yankees do.
I think it
Sign a
would be.
shortstop.
Sign a shortstop?
I think it's trading for somebody like Olsen. It's the first move.
I hate to say it. I think it's a minor trade, and they do all the heavy lifting after the lockout.
I can see that. I can see maybe the Andahar deal. Something
Yep,
small
that's exactly
like
who I
that.
was thinking.
Yeah.
That is exactly who. The only reason I didn't flat out say Andujar is because NL teams might wait to make sure there's a DH.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, guys, by the way, I see a lot of people mention this. The Knights at the Round Table name is spelled NIGHTS because we do it at night, but it's playing off of the Knights at the Round Table. But I'm not going to name it Knights at the Round Table. It's a nighttime thing, so we do it at night. It's not misspelled. It's not misspelled. It's playing off the name of Knights at the Round Table. And the new logo also will have a knight in it, which I think is a severe upgrade, the new one. The new one is terrific. So, Austin, I'm actually going to send you a lot of stuff after this.
Okay.
So you can see.
Sounds
it.
good.
But my first one, I agree with you, Austin. I think it is a smaller deal. Maybe I'll throw a name out there. I'll throw a team out there. I'll say Andujar to the Marlins. Put Andujar on the Marlins. Why the hell not?
Good trading history.
Good trading history. I think it makes sense. RB, or who are you saying? You saying a shortstop?
Yep.
And Joe, you said Olsen?
Yeah, I think they do
Man.
trades before signings.
I was really hoping Joe was just like, nah, man, we get Story. That's it. I've been going to bat for my dude
That's
so
my
much.
guy.
Story is done, and we get Story, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. So with that being said, greatly appreciate everybody who obviously contributed with the super chats and all that, and everybody who was just in here having conversation. A lot of great ideas. And again, if you are not subscribed, make sure you do it because you do not want to miss anything that is coming in January. It's going to be absolutely terrific. So with that being said, another episode of Nights at the Round Table in the book. We will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys soon.
Tell me what you